Kick off the first Friday in November. Feels like November football weather outside, a little rainy. I'm being told that we're going to wake up tomorrow morning. There's going to be snow, slushy snow on the ground. I'm only repeating what weather people are saying.
Oh, you're not a weatherman? You're not claiming to be a weatherman anymore?
Well, I was busy yesterday. I didn't have a chance to look at my models to determine how many inches of slushy snow we're going to get. But it is a Football Friday fiesta, and Gary and Friends is on the road. Our friend today is Connor Happer. Everybody say hello to Connor.
Hi, Connor.
Hey, overwhelming. Hey! We are here at Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village, our home away from home on Nebraska Home Football Fridays, and the great crew here, and the smells.
Oh, yes.
Walked in the door, and it smells like cinnamon.
Yeah.
Man, hello.
That is a good way to wake up.
So this is the enticement. Not only should be the good content and the discussion to get you out of bed to come down here and watch a live radio show and dream of being the next host on 1620 The Zone someday, is we got things for you. We are now... we still got room to pay for breakfast, but you probably want to get here sooner than later. But we'll take care of your breakfast. If not, it's $6 breakfast entrees. Man, we don't have to tell you anymore. The breakfast here is fantastic.
Yeah, did you see that burrito I had last week?
I did. That was a big burrito.
Yeah, put me to sleep.
You know, there used to be a place in Lincoln when I was living there called Burritos Bigger Than Your Head.
Yeah.
That was the actual name of the store. And they were, if you took a small child into the place, the burritos actually were bigger than the kid's head.
No, I think we're pushing that here.
Yeah, that's I as good as it is, I would probably go into food coma and I'd be done for the rest of the day. And I got things going on today, so I can't have a coma. I can't have my normal 3-hour nap on a Friday.
What, are you watching Coaching Rumors? All day? Like, well, what's the rest
I don't
of
know,
the day?
You watch Coaching Rumors?
Well, you scroll
listen?
through Twitter, or you go to footballscoop.com or something like that. That could be a couple hours at least.
Before we address that, and yesterday, I just said, hey, I'm feeling something. I don't think it's any coincidence that after 7 weeks, all of a sudden a lot of stuff happened yesterday. We're going to get into that in just a moment, but we are here in Exarban Village. Please stop by. We also, with Nebraska and Minnesota playing tomorrow at 11 a.m., 42 at kickoff. I did look at my models. No rain is expected. There could be a little wind. It's going to warm up probably about 50 at halftime. So it's going to feel like a November Friday. But you remember last time Minnesota was here, we went to bed on a Friday, and it was really nice, and you woke up the next morning and there was snow on the ground. Yeah, and there was nobody in the stands.
Remember when the guy I can't remember who it was, and I can't remember if it was from Minnesota or Nebraska, but everybody slipped and they ran into the red fence that guards the field off, because it was, I don't know, what was in the teens, and it was snowing, it was disgusting, and there was nobody at the game because it was 2020.
And quite basically, there was nobody on Minnesota's sidelines. They had 33 guys that were sidelined because of COVID, and they beat Nebraska, and it's one of Fleck's best moments. We'll get into this year in the 2022 battle where Minnesota is now a 16-point favorite against Nebraska. But that little thing that's going on tomorrow morning, do not let the weather or what is surrounding Nebraska football persuade you from not going, because we have an opportunity for you. We have a couple of tickets to give away to that event. We got swag to give away today. We got mouse pads. We got T-shirts to give away. If you like the hat that I'm wearing or the hoodie that Connor is wearing, we can negotiate. We can have a trade here.
Mike
No. Dookie Clint. I have one of those Elkhorn Antler hoodies. I just can't wear it. I got to be neutral. Yeah, but I'm not switching with you because I'm shirtless under here, and that would be very awkward. The people here at Jones Bros would be like, "What the guy's sitting there doing a show shirtless."
So
we're on TV too, so that would not be good.
Could be a good way to start it. Which high school football game will Gary Sharp find himself at this evening?
There are a couple of options. I think here's the problem: is they don't stagger these games. It would be great to stagger the games so we could catch a lot of games. Or even next week, by the way, stagger the semifinals. Declan in the house.
That'd be nice. Or we could have high school football red zone on Friday, where we have the whip around coverage, and you have me or you in the studio saying not 7 hours, but 3 hours of commercial-free football, and then we just go from YouTube stream to YouTube stream. Now we go to Gretna.
I love that idea. I think that's something that could happen next year, but I want to take credit. Before Red Zone was ever Red Zone, John Bishop and yours truly did something like that for high school basketball district finals in Lincoln at KLN.
That's kind of cool.
It was pretty cool. I mean, we were able to pull it off with, back then the technology and the in the early 2000s. Well, we had people on Marty's and cell phones, and it was pretty wild. Was it as wild as yesterday? How would you you heard what we were talking about yesterday and crossover, and everybody had their ear to the ground, and I felt like something was going on, and something is happening.
Oh, something is
happening. Yes. I don't think it's by coincidence that yesterday, for the first time in 7 weeks, all of a sudden there was a lot of information. And the stuff I said yesterday, I don't have anything new for you. I know that there was a big discussion about, did the Board of Regents meet? Well, they don't have to. And there are people that cover that for a living. And so they are well versed in all of the rules and whatever goes on and their sources. And that's fine. But in this case, because it kind of now are going to turn into a battle of media on media of who's going to get a scoop, who's got sources, what are you doing?
You said already yesterday with people saying, this didn't happen.
Are they going to tell you? If they're having an informal briefing, are they going to tell you?
No, Gary. No would be the answer to that question.
So that's the question that I ask out loud. But as the day goes on, and there's some people that we don't pay any attention to, that we're ridiculous and we're reporting stuff that, I don't know, Twitter verified or however you want to. Ignore those people, block those people, Elon, take their account away.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Is then as the day ramps up and the stuff I mentioned yesterday about what I was hearing from people that cover the SEC and Auburn surrounding Matt Rule, all of a sudden Football Scoop comes out with more information than anybody really concrete, somewhat concrete information, more than anybody has really had about the process and who Nebraska has vetted and who they're looking at, from Matt Rule to Gary Patterson to Jeff Monken to Mickey Joseph. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that 7 weeks we were quiet, and then all of a sudden yesterday some things started to happen. Now, I don't think anything's going to happen today. I think the next couple of days will be about the focus of Nebraska and Minnesota, and then it'll probably ramp right back up again. But something is definitely going on. I just don't think today and tomorrow, I believe, will be quiet. But yesterday gave you something. And it also, Connor, now there are like some names, and Football Scoop, they're in it for the coaches and the agents, and they pass along information. They're not as willy-nilly and just throwing stuff out there as maybe they used to be. I think they're a little bit more buttoned down.
Yeah, because that had a bad rep for a while.
Yeah, and I think they've gotten better in that case. But I'm just curious for you and everybody else, now that there's the Gary Patterson, the Jeff Monken, with the connection of him at Army. Remember, Trev has made trips to Hudson when his son was there. Ted Carter, of course, the physical style. Matt Rule has entered the picture. Mm-hmm. You still have Mickey Joseph. I'm wondering now what people's reactions were, because
just to the group of names. Yeah,
I thought it was very mixed. And then also the reaction to Mickey Joseph's candidacy yesterday.
Yeah. Well, the thought yesterday before the Football Scoop report was it sort of feels like it's Mickey Joseph and Matt Rule. I mean, that's what it feels like right now. And then the Football Scoop report came out, and you threw a couple more names into the mix. Those guys' names were mentioned, but you have Gary Patterson and Jeff Monken, who are way off the board. Seriously, I mean, we talked about these Midwestern candidates for a really, really long time. I mean, you could throw Aranda in there too, but Matt Campbell and whoever else, and Lance Leipold and Chris Kleiman, and those guys weren't mentioned, and the timing wouldn't match up necessarily for them to be. Now, the Football Scoop report mentioned one more sort of mystery candidate that's still out there,
which is it falls under the lines that I said right away. There'll be a surprising pick.
Yeah. So, I mean, the timing doesn't really work for those guys because they're still coaching their football teams, and they want to do everything they possibly can to not have their name out tied to a different coaching search at this point in the season. However, with that being said, Monken's name's out there. I mean, so I don't know. We saw the two names.
And not the Georgia offensive coordinator.
No.
The head coach at Army, which now all of a sudden people will watch Air Force and Army probably tomorrow.
We saw, I think you pretty much know what you're going to get with Army. But we saw two names that we've been seeing, we knew were candidates the entire time, or at least have grown to know to be candidates, in Matt Rule and Mickey Joseph. And then the two other ones is like, oh, this is really interesting. It was it's an interesting group, and my reaction to Monken is, really? But I mean, it's we still, there's still some time left here.
But the two guys, and I think every college football coach in America, not named Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, or Kirby Smart, or Ryan Day, has been mentioned, or Jim Harbaugh, has been mentioned for this job, and we've all in our head or on the radio or wherever we have vetted these. Monken and Patterson make sense. And you might go, what? Gary Patterson's 62. Think about the guy that's making the hiring, who's had a very measured approach in all of this. And until yesterday, everything had been kind of, okay, I think now it's starting to, is if you go back and you listen on the Sunday that Scott Frost was fired, and I advise people to do this because I think it will help when you get to the finish line. Stuff that Trev said, a Monken and a Patterson fit that to a T. So they make sense in what he's looking for. Do they make sense to push across the finish line? That's what we don't know. But I think the other part of yesterday, Connor, and interacting with a lot of people, listeners, friends, people that we all are part of the media, is it became you are picking sides now.
Yeah.
And now you are really, really, fair or unfair, you are picking the Mickey Joseph side. And it's not, I'm in between. You know what? If we can't get I'll take Mickey. Now I'm sensing that you're either pro Mickey or nope, don't want Mickey. Hey, I want him to stay, but I'm no longer in the middle. That's just my impression of yesterday in interaction with people when it comes to Mickey Joseph, who is still a candidate.
Yeah, man, you're right. I think you're right. And it makes for a really interesting, because that guy's coaching. He's coaching the football team that you have right now that you're going to go to the stadium and root for tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning when they play Minnesota in the remainder of the season too. So, I mean, we said it at the beginning of the week. Nebraska's loss to Illinois, provided some clarity and almost some closure on the season. They're no longer involved in the Big Ten West race, and the Mickey thing calms down enough where you no longer feel like if you were to say, okay, Mickey's our head coach right now, that would be an emotional decision had they had beaten Illinois last week. So you get to sort of step back and refresh. And for the last 4 games of the season, yes, there's the games, but there's also, we're watching the coaching search now. And so that's what this week has sort of been about. And it culminates with a Thursday where there's actually movement for the first time. I think you're right though. And what a weird scenario to go into the last 4 games with here, where it's sort of Mickey versus the field. And this week we had some movement on Mickey sort of, campaigning for the job, making it very clear, like he wants this job. There was the whole, Arizona State thing that was reported, and there was the whole Sports Illustrated story as well. So his hat's in the ring. It's good to see it confirmed, right? Like it's, he's in that conversation, but I do think you're right. Like it makes for a pretty weird setup for the last month of this thing, or maybe less at this point.
So yesterday was yesterday. I think today and tomorrow, the focus will be on a football game, and then we'll move on to Sunday and see what happens. But something is happening. Something is definitely going on. It wasn't a coincidence yesterday that my knees were. It's not the rain outside, the cold weather. Is that I felt like something was going on.
Yesterday was day 53 of the coaching search. We didn't just get bored.
Was day 53?
I believe so.
Wow.
I believe it was day 53 yesterday. And now we are bored. I will admit that we want this thing to move on. And Nebraska's had a bad season. It's been crazy, but we didn't just decide yesterday was the day that things started to move or like we just fired off a couple tweets. Like this happened. This stuff happens for a reason. There's some movement on this, and at the end of the day, the only thing that we have that's sort of concrete about it is a list of 4 or 5 names from Football Scoop, which is an interesting setup for the final couple weeks.
So here's one other thing to watch, and if people want to talk about a 951-1620, we're going to move on and talk about Nebraska and Minnesota because there's a lot in that game because it's a great weekend of college football. College football doesn't have a ton of quote unquote insiders. Pete Thamel was hired by ESPN from Yahoo to be the insider. You've got Bruce Feldman over at Fox. Watch those two tomorrow when they do their hits. If they bring up Nebraska, because they brought up Nebraska, but it hasn't been a ton of information. Now, do they have something that they will add to all of this?
Yeah, because usually when this stuff starts to, when you pare down your list of
people are talking.
It's people, but those guys are connected usually to like the agencies and the upper level talk within the industry type of thing. Where when it doesn't come from here, because we're connected to the people who are actually here and local and are in the building every day, usually that stuff it has to go to the top, so that this is real because it's made it that high. And that's why the Board of Regents thing, sort of popped up yesterday as well.
Hey, it was great to hear from a lot of people that I haven't heard from a long time. Right. They slid in my DMs. Were like, what the heck's going on? I live in Oakland. I live in Pittsburgh. What's going on? You got to tell me. So just prepare yourself. Now it is starting to ramp up after it's been quiet. But Nebraska and Minnesota play tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Coming up in about an hour, Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews joins us. It is look at Mike DeVille eyeing that strawberry cupcake.
He is all over it.
Mike, strawberry cupcake. Mike, we can share it. Strawberry cupcake. We'll load up with sugar before 7. I'll be bouncing off the wall. So will Connor.
Put you to sleep, though.
Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews coming up at 7:30. It's a great weekend of football. Did you know the game of the century is happening this weekend?
Yes.
Is that a game? The Georgia-Tennessee game. College football is so regionalized. We focus on our own team. We focus on our own conference. Is Georgia-Tennessee big enough that you're going to make it a priority to watch tomorrow in Omaha, Nebraska?
I think so. You also have to look at what's going on around it and the rest of the 2:30 slate.
There is no other game of the century, Connor.
There's no other game from, in the morning / afternoon. Like there's a whole bunch of games at night that might be of interest to people tomorrow. But 2:30 is a really good time. You could pregame with little Nebraska. Maybe that has a fourth quarter that you're like, I could either go with this or I could not. And you watch a little CBS SEC football with Tennessee and Georgia. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel like Alabama, LSU from a couple of years ago. Because I don't think everybody's quite convinced on Tennessee yet, even though they have the little number 1 by their name. But this would be a moment. This is another moment in an awesome season for Tennessee, which I'm very jealous of because they sucked for a really long time, and now they don't. They definitively do not suck, Gary Sharp. Number 1.
Rocky Top, baby.
Yep.
Josh Heupel has changed the game for everybody else in college football that are hiring new coaches. Just saying.
It's going to be another field goal post in the river tonight or tomorrow night when they beat Georgia.
So you think the fans will break into Neyland Stadium?
That's correct. It's on the road. I understand this.
I think they would be beat to a pulp if they tried that between the hedges.
If you get enough of them, strength in numbers.
I don't know. I think people are overlooking Georgia. They've forgotten about Georgia. It's kind of like Omaha Westside High School football, which is, quarterfinals tonight. People forget about Omaha Westside. They're really, really good.
People forget about Westside.
Oh, nobody's talking about them.
But because they haven't
nobody's
played
talking about
anybody
Georgia
in several weeks.
Nobody's playing. Nobody talks about Georgia. Nobody talks about Westside.
You want to know why nobody's talking about Georgia? Because their last 7 games have been against Samford, South Carolina, Kent State, Missouri, Auburn, Vanderbilt, and Florida. That's why nobody's talking about Georgia. And now they actually have it. This schedule, by the way, nobody. They beat Oregon to a pulp in the first week of the season. Oregon obviously, wasn't ready for that. They don't play anybody except for Tennessee. This is an SEC schedule that does absolutely nothing for me.
They can only play teams that are in front of them.
I understand, but this is why nobody is talking about them.
Well, you might be talking about them tomorrow.
They don't have
they
any.
are the defending national champions.
We talk about
playing at home.
If there's a whole bunch of one-loss teams at the end of the year here, and Georgia's one of them, that schedule might come back to hurt them a little bit.
It may. I mean, the team that loses tomorrow might be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the game of the century
because it's a crowded top right now.
So Brett will join us coming up at 7:30. Lee Sterling, who is on a heater, he'll join us a little after about 7:55. It is a night of high school football playoffs. Bundle up. Weather could be a factor. There are some intriguing matchups, especially around this area. Mike Sauter will make his weekly appearance. He will be in Lincoln, I believe, because it is the Friday of the state volleyball playoffs.
Well,
state tournament.
He'll be in Lincoln during the day. He will be at Gretna.
Is he going to go Gretna, Bell West?
I mean, I don't know.
That can't deliver the same, right?
Well,
I don't think we can't do 37-14 turns into 40-37 again, right?
Yeah, I don't think they get down by 3-4 touchdowns, but I think it'll still end up being a pretty good game.
So Michael join us 8:30. Mike Schaefer at 9. We will talk about everything that is going on. And, of course, the most important thing is Nebraska, Minnesota, and then Matt Verzal, who will be on the road to Scotts Bluff. Scott and Scotts Bluff play in the quarterfinals.
That's a trip.
So that's the lineup brought to you by the Rooferys of John Higgins Weather Guard. Please stop by, say hello. The fine gentlemen here that work at UNO, they are off to work after enjoying a breakfast. Have a good one. By the way, also, just right around the street, we can see it from our location. It's a huge weekend for Omaha hockey. They take on North Dakota. I'm surprised there's some North Dakota fans passed out in here.
Baxter Arena is going to be a hot. I mean, this is what we talked about last week with the old, with the fights in Baxter Arena or around UNO hockey. I mean, watch out. It's a heated rivalry.
Tough that series, which is one of the biggest series that Omaha hockey plays, is this weekend. I mean, tonight you're up against high school football playoffs.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you're up against Nebraska.
Yeah.
Usually this is in January, February. Place is packed. You're ready. You're in hockey mode. Tough to be in hockey mode right now.
Yeah, not quite in hockey mode, not quite in basketball mode. Although, we'll start that thing off on Monday. You got a pretty big one in a significant location.
Yeah.
They're gonna raise the banner on Monday.
No, I think they've already done it.
They did it at their exhibition game.
No, I think they did it on when Shaq Diesel was there.
Or do they do it when Bill Self gets back from his suspension?
No, I think they did it on their late night at the Fog. I think that's when they raised the banner.
They get maybe a ring ceremony or something like that. I don't know what they do anymore, but yeah, I mean it's the first game of the season.
Sure, they could do all that. Be distracted. That's fine. All right, that's Connor. Mike is here as well. Dan Campanen is with us. He's back in the studio. You can be with us as well. Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village. We got an opportunity for you to go see that little event going on tomorrow morning in Lincoln. Plus, we have swag to give away, and we're still buying breakfast for people. If you're not able to get in here now, $6 breakfast entrees. You can't beat it. Mike Neville, once again, undefeated, goes with the donut before 6:30.
Yeah, man.
It's large chocolate donut.
A tradition unlike any other. Mike Neville and his donut.
Now Mike will go over in the corner and grab his blankie and take a little nap. 951-1620. That's the numbers to get into the party on a Football Friday Fiesta. That's on the Les Hills Harley-Davidson hotline. You can always email us into the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. Gary at 1620thezone.com, Connor at 1620thezone.com, or on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Gary Sharp 1620 at Connor Happer. Off and running. Connor is in today as my friend and your friend on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Do you guys do the king-size candy bars, or you cheap?
Well, first of all, the cheap way is the way you're supposed to go.
Wow. Oh, so you guys do the king-size?
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that you guys give away king-size bars. That's good. That is good,
John.
John.
That's not good. First of all, it's encouraging obesity and tooth decay.
Brush your teeth.
Secondly,
give them toothbrushes.
Don't do that.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Wet and chilly weather Friday with rain expected throughout the morning. Showers become more spotty in the afternoon with a north breeze gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. Highs will only top out in the low 40s. More showers expected overnight, then changing to wet snow after midnight. 1 to 3 inches of slushy accumulation possible in the metro by Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report near 72nd and Blondo, so please be cautious if you are in that area. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for some significant slowdown from Richland Drive to 90th. And along Center, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown from 180th to 168th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Thank you, Omaha. It's triple first-place wins for Fernando's. Fernando's is honored and grateful to you for voting them the best Mexican restaurant in the Best of Omaha and Omaha Choice Awards and Best Margarita in the Omaha Choice Awards. Fernando's, family-owned and community-served.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
MD West One's team of neurosurgical spine specialists is the largest and most advanced in the greater Omaha metro. MD West One has been voted the #1 private practice and #1 in neurosurgery and spine by Best of Omaha year after year. They can help if you're suffering from recurring neck and back pain, weakness or numbness in your extremities, sciatica pain, or any other recurring issues stemming from your neck or back. Go to mdwest1.com to meet the spine team at MD West One.
It's the final weekend to save during the grand opening of 42 Degrees' newest location at Baker Square. To celebrate, we have put everything on sale. Kratom at $14.99, CBD from $19.99, Delta products from $6.99. Need a new vaporizer, e-juice, candles, pipes, and more? Then come to the source and save up to 75% on everything we sell. So don't wait until it's too late and save up to 75% during our grand opening of our newest location at Baker Square. 42 Degrees, your source by your mom's house.
It's a new era of Omaha Maverick basketball. Season tickets start at just $75 for women's and $125 for men's. For the best seats, get yours now at the Baxter Arena box office by calling 402-554-6200 or at omavs.com/tics.
With Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you'll find top brand kitchen appliances with innovative features that can do more, so your holidays can be more. Ovens with built-in air fryers for baking the perfect cookies. Dishwashers with smart tech to clean everything from bakeware to festive mugs, and high-capacity refrigerators to keep leftovers fresh. Shop Black Friday savings and get up to 30% off, plus instantly save up to $750 on select GE kitchen packages at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid November 2nd through November 30th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Hey, Olivia, what do you think when you think of Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe?
I think, can we go now?
Jones Bros is famous for award-winning cupcakes. Our cafe is delicious for breakfast and lunch, too.
Try French macarons.
And our light bulb boba drinks.
And our ice cream.
And our coffee and lattes.
And our croissant donuts.
We cater, too. Come see us at Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village.
Come on, let's go.
Mav Extravaganza! Saturday, 4 games in one day. Starting with men's soccer versus Eastern Illinois at 10:30 at Alcaneglia Field, followed by volleyball versus Oral Roberts at 12:30 at Baxter Arena. Then the Summit League Women's Soccer Championship at 3 o'clock at Alcaneglia Field with a chance to advance to the NCAA tournament. Finally, Omaha Maverick Hockey against 10th-ranked North Dakota at 7:07 at Baxter Arena. Special ticket pricing is available for all 4 events at the Baxter Arena box office or by calling 402-554-6200.
The holidays are coming, and what's better than the gift of spending time together? And Tickets for Less and ticketsforless.com is going to help you. You can find tickets to all the best live sporting events, concerts, and holiday shows, and you never pay extra per ticket fees. Plus, you can save even more at ticketsforless.com when you use the promo code The Zone at checkout for an extra discount on your order. That code again is The Zone. It's good site-wide at ticketsforless.com, or you can call Tickets for Less at 402-398-1999 and redeem the code over the phone. Secure your tickets and save with Tickets for Less.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. 1620 The Zone.
All right, Friday morning vibes on a Football Friday Fiesta live from Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe. Gary and friends in the morning. Connor Happer is in today. Stop in and say hello to Connor. Take a selfie. Get an autograph.
Yeah.
Go buy you breakfast. If you're here before 7.
I bought last week.
Yeah, but it's everybody that sits in that chair. Yeah, Mike Neville's telling you that now the rules. So the next time you sit over here, then we'll switch. But sorry.
Again, 2 times in a row.
Well, man, you're learning on the fly. You're still a little whippersnapper.
Okay, well, I'm usually the guy who gets here first, so I'll just take that chair next week.
My commute is less.
Yeah.
Walk around the corner. And I didn't walk here today. A little bit cold outside.
Oh, yeah, not great.
We do have tickets to give away. You can register for that little thing going on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thing that went on last night, tense game 5.
Baseball.
That the Houston Astros, kind of as the ebbs and flows because it's baseball, has played out. They're up 3-2 with a chance, the dynasty that could be labeled as the Houston Astros, to win the World Series at home in Game 6. But great, exciting game last night, especially when the game's decided by a perfect pick at first and then crashing into the outfield wall to end the game, where you get the same reaction. So Ryan Presley, who comes in and gets 5 outs. He pitched the day before. He comes in with a couple of runners on, and he's able to get a 5-out save for the Astros. His reaction was the same as the batter who had hit the ball after the catch by McCormick, who is now in the lore of the Houston Astros. I was highly entertained last night. Not so much with the NFL game that featured the 2 NFL teams from those cities. Eagles, I'm not downplaying. They're 8-0, and Hurts has won 11 in a row. But the baseball last night was good, and the baseball could be over Saturday night.
It was really intense. I mean, after the game when they were doing the interviews, you saw multiple people like in the background of some of the camera shots just like sort of keeled over, like looking around at Verlander, looked like, he was in space or something like that. Everybody was just like, whoa, deep breath. That was an intense 2.5, 3 hours. And now we got the win, and now we get to go back to Houston. But that was a really, really intense game last night. It didn't look like the Astros were going to win for the first couple innings. They get the job done. I'm always impressed by, feels like every time I haven't watched the entire thing, but it feels like every time Alex Bregman is making a play at third base that is exceedingly difficult, but he makes look very, very normal. He did it on the final play of the no-hitter the other night. That was a really tough play to pick, and so he's been really impressive. The Astros are really good. I'm jealous of the fact that they get to have really young players who seemingly come out of nowhere and are just automatically stars, like a guy like Jeremy Pena. I mean, they are fun to watch. They're fun to watch, and they're young, and they're not going anywhere.
Can we talk about, first of all, is everybody okay? And this is when you get to postseason baseball in the World Series, that Fox shows everything but the game.
Yeah, they get the guy standing on the roof.
They get all the crowd shots. Now,
a lot of Miles Teller, a lot of Kate Upton.
You get those in Philadelphia. Houston fans, you're on the clock. But there's also part of Fox and baseball trying to present itself to people that did not grow up reading box scores in the newspaper. Is we got to get younger. Meek Mill, who Philadelphia, they roll out Meek Mill, and Meek Mill's good. He comes in, he blows the place up, he leaves. Philadelphia teams get a W. They didn't last night.
It was much, much cooler when he did it at the Eagles game a few years ago.
Meek Mill got you hype, but what the heck was that?
Well, it's hard to do an edited version of the song that has so many bad words that you cannot say on TV or in public really at all.
We past that.
Well, they were when they did it at the Eagles game a couple of years ago. Now, he didn't come out and perform it live. They just played it over the loudspeaker, and I'm pretty sure they played it unedited, and everybody was losing their mind. Now, Meek Mill comes out and actually performs Dreams and Nightmares, and that song cannot be played. I don't even know how you would play it on the radio, like in an edited version. There'd be too many gaps in the song. So it's hard. I don't know how he does it, honestly, because he knows the real words to the song, but he's self-editing himself as he goes.
If we were on the Connor Happer show, would we do a poll question? Meek Mill not able to swear, not Meek Mill.
Yeah, no,
it's not the same. He's just Mill.
he's just Mill, or he's just Meek. I guess that'd be the way.
So the World Series is one game away. Brett Ciancio will join us in less than an hour from Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe. We'll get back into Nebraska and Minnesota because
you want to talk any more coaching search?
Well, so I'm going to talk smokescreen. Smokescreen names that were mentioned yesterday. Smokescreen, Mickey Joseph talking about Casey Thompson. But let me read you an email from Jim.
Yeah, I like this.
In the Equitable Bank inbox. Guys, hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Jim out there in O'Neill. I'm still thinking that we can trust Trev. Trev's still in the trust tree, right?
The nest, the trust tree, the nest.
I don't think he's done anything that people are now people may not like some of the names now that have a little smoke behind them and go, come on, don't be cheap, spend some money, brother.
There's a couple things. And there was the not firing Scott Frost last year, and I don't know how you can be mad about letting him go when he did, but this is the way it works with ADs. When you hire a football coach, you're on the clock. That's it. When you hire a football coach, your success is tied to the success of the football coach, and then you go where that goes, and that's sort of how it works. So that hasn't happened yet. I think you're just patiently waiting that.
He built a respectable program at Omaha. He even said he doesn't necessarily think he wants to win the press conference. He wants to make the right hire, even if it isn't a splash hire. Have we fully identified? Because Dookie Clint is here. Dookie wants a home run.
Well, with the names that we saw yesterday,
splash.
Is there a splash? Would Rule be the closest thing to a splash?
Was Josh Heupel a splash hire at Tennessee?
No, he was not.
I trust him to make the right decision. If it's Mickey, okay. If it's Monken, awesome. I just don't know why people think you can't trust him, because this is Nebraska football, and this has been this way for a while.
Yeah.
So settle in.
Yeah.
Just ride the wave.
Well, I will say this. I mean, the list of names, if it ends up being,
pick your sides.
If it ends up being one of the people from the list of names that we saw yesterday, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, people are underwhelmed. I knew that was coming, and they were underwhelmed.
That's not a terribly
but
awe-inspiring list.
Are they just being vetted? Are they a smokescreen? And is that surprising pick? Would that make all of you happy with a sexy hire for Nebraska? There's
holding out hope, I think, for
we've
that.
We've all see. Here's the thing: we've all been through this before, so you have to read through some things. You have to really, really use some logic in thinking. Okay, is this a fit? Why would there be a connection? Now, a couple of these guys are, if you're thinking about Trev's personality,
boring.
They are kind of his personality, but they're also kind of what his standards are for how he looks at football, physical offense, discipline, those kind of things. You just have to you take a deep breath when you go through all this, because now it's started. We'd done, what'd you say, 53 days? 53 days was relatively quiet, and then yesterday started things, but now things are ramping up, and maybe it has a little bit to do with last week. Maybe it has to do with this week, but I think it's now we've hit November, and it's go time, and for the first time, there is information where a measured approach has kind of kept everything on lockdown, and still things are on lockdown.
And maybe it was just that that people were holding out hope, but we should have prepared ourselves for a list of names that looked like this a long time ago, because I mean, we knew that it wasn't like Trev wasn't going to go out and steal a head coach away at an a big time like he wasn't going to go get Nick Saban for $20 million a year. He wasn't going to go get Urban Meyer even or for $12 million a year. Like it wasn't ever going to be that. So you go back and listen to what he said the day he fired Scott Frost. And it's, yes, we're going to be the premier Midwest developmental program. And that's what we need to be here. And their coach is going to reflect it. And that might not take, $10 to $12 million a year. It might not, and they might think they can get value somewhere else and create maybe a staff, with the money that you have left over, whatever that might be. But it was never going to be like, it was never going to be like Scott Frost. I think we were accustomed to that from the last time, where what ended with the Scott Frost coaching search was like, this is it. We got the guy in the coaching search, and he's our guy, and we won. We won the coaching search. Nebraska's not going to win the coaching search, I don't think, compared to everybody else. I mean, I guess maybe you can get Matt Rule. People want Matt Rule. But I don't think Nebraska's going to beat the other schools that are out there, and whoever comes next in the coaching search. Like it might, you might, the grade might be B- or something like that. But I don't know that that's the worst thing in the world, because we've seen a lot of A grades here before.
The last coach that Nebraska hired through all the grading was an A+.
Yeah, every time
for across the board.
Every coach, by the way, in that cycle, with like and I looked this up a few weeks ago, but basically it's like Jonathan Smith is the only one left. He was basically the best hire of
Jonathan
the cycle.
Smith and Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much it. So, and that was a crazy coaching cycle.
It was. Coming up at 7:30, Brett Ciancia will stop by. Lee Sterling as well in the next hour. It is a fantastic weekend of college football. Not only the game of the century between Georgia and Tennessee, you also have Clemson, Notre Dame. You got LSU, Alabama. In the Big Ten, best game of the day, Iowa, Purdue.
In the Big Ten, best game of the day, Iowa, Purdue.
I'm watching Wisconsin, Rutgers because I'm watching the line on that game. But I think Iowa, Purdue might be the best game of the day in the Big Ten.
What's wrong? You don't want Ohio State, Northwestern?
If Ohio State is it still 38 as a favorite?
Correct.
Okay.
They're in my 4-quarter pick'em.
Oh, so
they're gonna win by 40. Yeah, I feel good about that.
Man, if you get you get a crazy bad beat on that game.
Oh yeah, well that's probably destined to happen.
Hello, darkness, my friend.
I did take them against Iowa though, so I'm just gonna.
Well, in my 4-quarter pick'em, I took Nebraska getting 16. I'll explain it. I'm
gonna take the opposite.
You think it's gonna be a bloodshed?
No, I just don't think Nebraska has enough offense to. A lot of the same stuff we talked about last week. I just think Minnesota is actually a notch better.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I will tell you why I focus on the other side of the ball with Nebraska's defense.
Yes.
So we will discuss that. Also, Mike Sauter stops by. We have a busy night of high school football playoffs. Shout out Cole Ballard, who is a touchdown machine at Elkhorn South. Just got a preferred walk-on offer. He's already had one from Nebraska. He got one from Oregon yesterday as well. So Michael stopped by at 8:30. Mike Schaefer and Matt Verzel live from Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe. There's Connor. I'm Gary, Mike, Dan as well, and all of you on 1620 The Zone.
It's an NFL doubleheader on Sports USA. And first, we're in Foxborough as the Indianapolis Colts race into New England to face the Patriots with Mack, Jacoby, and Ramondre Stevenson. Then, it's off to the Sunshine State as Stafford and the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams square off with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Touchdown, Mike Evans!
It's the Colts at the Pats, then the Rams at the Bucs. This Sunday on Sports USA.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Bill Jones.
And Olivia.
Here again for Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe. Jones Bros is famous here at Omaha for catering delicious breakfasts and lunches for business meetings.
If I owned a business, I cater Jones Bros every day.
Sounds good to me, Olivia.
For breakfast, I cater French toast with warm syrup and croissant donuts. That'd be a good day at work.
Go with it, Olivia. Check out our website at jonesbroscupcakes.com for catering.
Jones Bros Cupcakes in Exarban Village.
Sunday morning is all about church, eggs, and the Sunday paper. But right next to church, it's made for hot takes and reactions. Severe Reactions. Michael Severe is back on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction. Sundays 8 to 10 and doesn't hold back on what went right and what went wrong on Saturday. He'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction. Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Only on 1620 The Zone.
It's the final weekend to save during the grand opening of 42 Degrees' newest location at Baker's Square. To celebrate, we have everything on sale. Kratom at $14.99, CBD from $19.99, Delta products from $6.99. Need a new vaporizer, e-juice, candle, pipes, and more? Then come to the source and save up to 75% on everything we sell. So don't wait until it's too late and save up to 75% during our grand opening of our newest location at Baker's Square. 42 Degrees, your source by your mom's house.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
John, what are you doing? Get in my car. So why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They're draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Oh, wait. You're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code PHIL. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL.
Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
1620 The Zone.
Good Friday morning, everybody. Football Friday Fiesta. Connor is in today. I'm Gary, Mike, Dan here as well. All of you can join us at Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village. It feels like November outside. It's a little bit raining. There could be snow. There will be football tomorrow. It'll feel like Big Ten football. Run the ball, stop the ball, run. Beat PJ Fleck.
Good luck.
Well,
good luck.
You know, it's, when people look at tomorrow, the importance of tomorrow's game, you're going to ride the roller coaster. So what happens if Nebraska pulls an upset as a 16-point underdog? Is Mickey... You're so fun. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't do anything in reality. It still means Mickey Joseph's the same person, but for perception, yeah.
What impact, what does a win tomorrow against Minnesota do for the season? Well, it keeps you still bowl eligible, but does it change, oh, geez, I just want to get to the end of the season. I want to see what 23 looks like. But there's the other part of this.
A little bit.
That's a fairly important game for Minnesota tomorrow because as much as I'm still in the minority, I believe, and I think you're with me. PJ Fleck is a good football coach.
Yes.
He can coach football. He has a culture. He builds to it. He recruits to it. They find a way to win football games against similar teams or teams that are below them. It's the elite teams in the Big Ten where they're going to struggle with. But there's the part of tomorrow with Minnesota who, after losing 3 in a row, they start 4-0. Everybody's talking about them. Is this 19 all over again? Then they lose 3 in a row. They beat Rutgers last week in a game which they completely shut down Rutgers. I mean, it's 31-0. That's an important game tomorrow for PJ Fleck.
Yeah.
There's the pros of PJ Fleck and the cons is he has a tendency to be inconsistent. And so if you're trying to weave your way away from that and not have Bowling Green and Illinois on your ledger, that's a big game for Minnesota. Yeah. They're a big favorite coming in here tomorrow. There's so many things that they're going to hear Minnesota. Minnesota has the best running back. They've got a quarterback who I still think if Tanner Morgan has to beat you, I like Nebraska's chances tomorrow. But you don't know who you're going to play at quarterback for Nebraska. PJ, this is your guys. You guys are going to run. You're going to blow out Nebraska tomorrow. I think that's a pretty important game for Minnesota. If you're trying to tell people, hey, we're fine. We're a good football program. Well, good football programs come on the road and they find a way to win games like that when they are more than a 2-touchdown favorite.
I like that angle. I mean, pressure's on them a little bit. In the past couple of years, Nebraska has been the team in Minnesota's position. Nebraska, we went back to the 2020 game. Think about 2019, and that was a big game for Nebraska going up there, and they got drilled, and they didn't have Adrian Martinez, and it was 34-7, and then, so this Nebraska's been in Minnesota's position a little bit more often. I guess we're talking about it from a perception standpoint, but the perception is that Minnesota's better than Nebraska this year. Yeah, it's a big deal for them, and Nebraska can kind of show up and make it interesting on Saturday. I just don't like it from sort of like a personnel standpoint. Minnesota is always given Nebraska trouble with their run game and what they do and testing Nebraska's linebackers. And, well, what have we talked about the last couple of weeks? Nebraska's linebackers are in a tough spot. I think they were in a tough spot the entire season. We were without Nick Henrich. It's going to have to be a huge day for Reimer. I just don't like their ability there. And then you talk about scoring points and the whole conversation about quarterbacks this week. That doesn't necessarily inspire me either. But yeah, so, you're right, though. The pressure is on them. So that's a big deal for them coming into Lincoln, and they get to play in Lincoln in front of fans for the first time since 2018 when they lost and Scott Frost's first win. And you lose that element to the game, right? The Frost versus Fleck deal, which is kind of sad because I like that. I like that part. Those two do not see the world the same way. They disagree on a lot of things. Now Scott Frost isn't here anymore, so maybe that motivation's gone for Fleck too. But there's still a Nebraska-Minnesota thing, and it's a rivalry that makes sense.
Only they played the 11 times they played in the Big Ten, only twice has Minnesota covered a spread that large against Nebraska, and it has been at home. So just if you're in the 4-quarter pick'em, just
I am in the 4-quarter pick'em, and I'm not picking Nebraska.
I have Nebraska plus 16.
I'm the hater today, I guess.
I don't have to be a hater. I'm just I don't see this game. I see this feels like a 27-17 type game to me.
Okay, we're not that.
And
far
Minnesota
off.
wins a football game, and Nebraska is.
I don't think they're getting
Nebraska
killed.
is
I just think it's tough.
prepared, and they're playing at home. There's pride on the line, and it's just how long you can hang in the game.
Yeah, no, I don't think we're that far off. I don't think they're just going to get bludgeoned to death, but sort of. I hope they put up more than 30 yards of offense in the second half than they did last week.
Well, that's malpractice if they don't.
Yeah,
or Minnesota is just unbelievable in defense. But there's the whole vibe now that we're all riding the emotions around here, and I always say take the emotion out of everything. Is if you lose a football game tomorrow, where I think a lot of people look at number 11 ain't going to play, and you're like, the season's over. Okay, give me coaching search news. Is if you're not able to win a football game as a heavy underdog tomorrow, now it's let's have coaching search.
Yeah,
even though there's 3 football games to go because there is no gold at the end of the rainbow.
I think it was already trending toward that, and now you get this game this week, which nobody really thinks you're gonna win. I don't know about nobody, but it's tougher to imagine a situation where Nebraska wins it, and this would be sort of almost the final nail in the coffin for the season. with the exception of you always want to beat Wisconsin and you always want to beat Iowa. And so there's always going to be some amount of juice for those games. But, I mean, think about next week when Nebraska has to go to the Big House and play Michigan. It ain't going to be about that. It's going to be about the coaching search.
All right, hour number one complete. Brett Ciancia, Lee Sterling coming up in the next hour. Connor is here today as our friend from Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe. You want to go see that game tomorrow? We do have an ability for you to go see that game, I think is the best way to describe it.
Oh, I would say so too. It's pretty good. It's just a
with
game.
Legalese.
Yeah, it's just a game, football game taking place that is significant to some, and might have the ability for you to go.
That's a good way to describe
that's
it.
even further away from what, but people understand what we're talking about. A little wink, wink on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, people got upset yesterday at Wink Winks on the radio. This is 1620 The Zone.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West 1 Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
Connie Mack only won 9 pennants in his 55 years as a manager. What a bum.
Could you imagine sports radio in the time of Connie Mack? Boy, I tell you, this Connie Mack guy just can't get it done. Can't win the big one. Can't get over the hump. Only 5 World Series. Connie Mack, more like Connie Hack. Am I right?
That's exactly how they talked.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Wet and chilly weather Friday with rain expected throughout the morning. Showers become more spotty in the afternoon with a north breeze gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. Highs will only top out in the low 40s. More showers expected overnight, then changing to wet snow after midnight. 1 to 3 inches of slushy accumulation possible in the metro by Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by MD West 1 Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden, AC, Heating, Plumbing, and More, time-saving traffic center. We have one accident to report near 72nd and Blondo, so please be cautious if you are in that area. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for some significant slowdown from Richland Drive to 90th. And along Center, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown from 180th to 168th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
The Powerball jackpot is estimated at $1.5 billion. Pick up a Powerball ticket today for your chance to take home $1.5 billion or be Nebraska's newest millionaire for matching 5 white balls. Must be 19. Please play responsibly.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard Showroom. The difference between your company and the ones that haven't been around very long, and what's the real value there?
We started the business in '85. That has to be worth something that you've been in the community for this long. If people are just out there to shop the price and not the service and the quality of what we do and the integrity of who we are, those people may not be for us. And that's okay.
The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has been making your game day experience one to remember for 18 years with our award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. But now your game day just got bigger and better with Oscar's newly upgraded audio-video system. Cheer on your favorite teams this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall, showing up to 8 games at once, and of course, 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Greg Gonzalez retired as a tenured and decorated Deputy Chief of Police at the Omaha Police Department. Greg has over 28 years of experience and successfully climbed the ranks from street cop to Deputy Police Chief in charge of hundreds of police officers. Greg holds a bachelor's in criminal justice and a master's in public administration. Greg has the education, executive leadership, and budget experience needed to manage the Douglas County Sheriff's Department. Greg has helped recruit and hire over 450 officers. Greg Gonzalez will hire and train deputies to patrol your neighborhoods and keep you safe at night. Greg is the only candidate who has the executive leadership experience at the ranks of deputy chief, captain, and lieutenant. His opponent does not have the temperament, education, rank, budget, or supervisory experience needed to successfully lead the entire Douglas County Sheriff's Department. Hire the most qualified person for the job. Vote Greg Gonzalez for Douglas County Sheriff.
Hi, I'm Greg Gonzalez, and I approve this message. Paid for by Greg for Sheriff.
Dave Matthews Band Live. Saturday, November 12th, CHI Health Center. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Live Nation.
Find your next truck at Woodhouse Buick GMC. No matter where you're heading or what tasks need tackling, there's a premium and capable GMC truck that's perfect for you. Make a statement on the job site, out in the town, or wherever life leads you in the powerful and distinctive Sierra 1500, or elevate your driving experience in the adventurous and innovative Canyon. Explore our inventory online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com or visit our indoor showroom today. Woodhouse Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
1620 The Zone.
Fiesta. It's warm inside of Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe. Looking outside, man, what happened to shorts and 70 degrees? This is the first time in probably months that I've worn pants.
Yeah, I know.
Like I wear shorts, not I go pants.
Oh, you just don't wear pants at all?
It'd be very awkward. There'd be HR people involved.
The summer is gone, finally. We thought we had it till yesterday. I had to turn my air on a couple days ago. Yeah.
Wow.
He could have, theoretically could have opened the windows, but
it's like 75. What are you guys, wimps?
Well, I'd like it to be like 70, I like to keep it in between about 4 degrees. It's 68 and 72, I'm comfortable. If it's 75, I'm trying to go to sleep. No way. No chance. We gotta get some cool air going.
We could not live together.
You like it 75?
Well, I'm about to start traveling a lot over the next couple of
old?
months, and so I'm going to walk into hotel rooms and crank that puppy up.
Oh, crank that puppy down. You walk into a hotel room, and that thing is going down to 63 because there's no, you don't have to
63.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have to pay for
shrinkage.
You don't have to pay for the bill. Not concerned. You have to pay for the bill. You're good.
Yeah, I'm
crank that thing down.
Hey, Marriott's paying for the bill for the next 2 months for me. I'm not worried about that.
No, exactly. That's the point. That's why you crank that thing all the way down.
Terry writes in the Equitable Bank inbox, guys. Terry.
Hey, Terry.
With today's forecast, would you say it's a cold November rain?
I would say that, yes.
Great Guns N' Roses song.
Yep.
I would get the 8-minute extended version.
Sadly, it is a cold November rain, and tomorrow it might be a cold, a warm snow. If
slushy, I think it's slushy.
Warm snow is what I'm going to call it from now on. Not slush. Warm snow.
That is Connor. Mike is here. Dan's back at studio. I'm Gary. Brett Ciancia is coming up at the bottom of the hour. Nebraska and Minnesota tomorrow in Memorial Stadium at 11 a.m.
Wonder what he thinks. Wonder what he thinks about this game, or if he's given it much thought.
Who, Brett?
Yeah.
Brett always he'll chime in on Minnesota. He likes PJ Fleck because Fleck talks to him every offseason.
That's nice. I like PJ Fleck too. I think we need to get over the fact that, like I said before, maybe we can now put the whole Scott Frost thing behind us and say, PJ Fleck, he's not so bad.
I checked that a couple years ago.
People are not agreeing.
No, because you get the run of all the jokes about him. Well, you know what? The joke's been on Nebraska. Look what he's done in Nebraska.
Good football coach. He's got a shtick, and that's his thing, and he's going to row the boat, but good football coach. And perfect for college football, and actually I think perfect for Minnesota. There's always talk about him going, and taking some other job. I just don't. I don't see it. I think he's a really, really good fit there because you could do enough. You could be weird there. You know what I mean?
We will
not tied to too much tradition.
Wow, we got questions.
We got
from the
audience.
Live question. Hold on, hold on, Clint. One thing. What do you mean you could be weird?
You could be weird at Minnesota. There's no you have to be a certain way. You're not like tied to this tradition or anything like that. And if you lose, or you can't lose significantly, but if you're like 6-6, 7-5, nobody cares. Nobody goes to the games. Then you could survive that. And you can come back in a couple of years and win 9, win 10. Like you can do some things at Minnesota that you can't do or wouldn't have the latitude to do at a program like Nebraska. You just wouldn't. It wouldn't.
So
play
you can't
well
be
there.
weird at Nebraska as a coach?
No. No. I mean, you really can't.
Nice, we're buttoned up.
No, we're
you
too
can't be
mean.
weird.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't have a personality as the head coach?
No, you cannot have a personality as a head coach.
Why the hell would anybody want to come here?
He said, what blue blood has a shtick for a coach?
A shtick?
Yeah, he's
like
got
a personality?
Not necessarily a personality.
Well, nobody really has slogans. I mean, he's more, PJ Fleck is more open about their slogan. I think everybody has sloganeering. Yeah, his is more, they let him brand the program.
I mean, trust me, there's a whole bunch of weird college football coaches, that's for sure. But he's he takes it to a little bit of a different level, and he's a little hokey. Like you don't, the whole thing with Fleck is you're not sure whether it's a bit or not. And if it doesn't matter if you can get people to buy into it, and he's got people to buy into it. So that's
don't
fine.
think it's a bit, because I'm going to say what players say, and you ask them,
no,
is that really who he is? And they say he's genuine. That he's the same person in front of us, in front of
Gary,
you.
You've talked to him before. I asked him specifically that at Big Ten Media Days, and he was like, "Look, man, this is just what I am all the time." And so
it's not a bit.
It's not a bit.
It's
No.
just that works for him. And
but like, watch. This is who I compared him to. Watching Hard Knocks. So Dan Campbell, right? He's got some things that he says. He's got some isms, right? He's a coach in the NFL. Guys don't react the same way, or the team dynamic, the team environment isn't necessarily the same. Now it's comparing college to the NFL, but I do think it's a little bit similar when you compare, like, the Alabamas and Georgias of the world to the Minnesotas of the world. Like there's certain things you can't do in places because of the environments that you're in, and he's created a really good environment for him.
You don't think like a Kirby Smart, his southern tang and Georgiaisms would work like in Los Angeles?
It'd be a little weird. It'd be a little weird, right? That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah. So you need to fit for who you are as a program, and you need to get people to buy in, and that's it.
Well, speaking of getting the people to buy in, it's an important game. So we got off on this discussion about Fleck, because I think for Minnesota to remind you of who they are, that's a game they win to get bowl eligible. But in terms of buy-in, tomorrow is an important day for Mark Whipple. Now, I think we're all under the impression, rightfully so, the miracle is 1 year and done. But
no doubt,
it fractured some people last week when the decision to ride or die with Chubba Purdy, and whether it be a fan base or your own coaching staff or your own locker room, this is a big day for him tomorrow, because which quarterback gives you the best chance to win? It's pretty clear that Mark Whipple, and I said this yesterday, Connor, quarterbacks and offensive coordinators, they'll tie themselves to quarterback one, and why wouldn't you? Yeah. That's the guy, and so that's your ride or die guy, and you hope they never go down, so you have to go to plan B in a game that matters. You would love to go to plan B and plan C when the game's not on the line, you can develop them. But in this case, he had to go to a backup. But I think everybody has eyeballs, everybody has an opinion, everybody has a feel, and that's a game that I think Nebraska, when they came out of the locker room, they still thought they were in the game, even though they were down on the scoreboard 20-9. So you say, let's make the decision to go with Chubba Purdy. Yep. And it became pretty clear right away against a great defense to put him in that position.
Which I don't agree
with. What they
decision.
wanted him to do is that was not going to work. So why not go to the next option that gives you the best chance to win?
That's the problem.
And there were and people were wondering, they were murmuring to themselves in helmets, what are we doing here? We have a chance. Remember, I gave 6 points in the second half. Whether Illinois said, we have no respect for your offense, so we're going to kick field goals.
They did not.
But Nebraska came out of that locker room and players felt like they had a chance to win. So now you've gone through a week where I don't believe Casey Thompson's going to play at all. I know game time decision, because you can't just have that linger out there. You've got your two guys and you move, but how long is the leash? And when, if both play, when do you choose a moment for Logan Smothers to say, all right, this is the opportunity for him? Because Nebraska can't do what they did last week.
Well, they can.
They just can't.
They can. They can. I think that, I don't know, not that I would prefer it. So to go back to last week, and we'll build up to this week, it's a couple things. First of all, the decision to go with them and the explanation of why. I mean, you felt like you needed to throw the ball. You know there weren't going to be you knew that there weren't going to be that many points in that game, and you're only down 11. If you come out of the break and you find a way to put a touchdown drive together, you're only down 20-16. Like you're right there at that point. So I mean, I don't know why the answer, I don't know why we just sort of like accepted that answer. Oh, it's like, really? You need to throw every play? You're only down 2 possessions. You're down by 11 points. And then to not make the change when things weren't going well. That's tough. Like that was a really, really tough look for Mark Whipple. And I think Mickey too. I think it's Whipple's responsibility, but obviously there's something there between those two. I mean, but we know Whipple now, and we know what he wants to do, and we know the offense that he wants to, the environment that he wants to create. And Gary, I gotta say, like, I think it's gonna be Chubba Purdy for like every play. I just think I think we're gonna see a lot more Chubba than we are Logan Smothers tomorrow. And I don't agree with that. Like I want to see what Nebraska needs quarterback run in their offense, and Chubba can give you a little bit there. And Casey, they wanted to protect him, rightfully so. But Nebraska needs to find, and Whipple's big on this. He knows he knows that scoring points gets you to that point. But I just don't think Nebraska is sound enough all across the ball to be putting that much on their quarterback's shoulders. So actually what you do is you take a little bit off them by using that guy in the run game, and you take a little bit off the offensive line shoulders as well. And so that they can sort of just get straight up forward and run block and stuff like that. Like
the frustrating thing
I've been calling for Logan for weeks, and like I just don't think it's going to happen now. Like I've arrived at the conclusion that we're just not going to get there. Like I don't think Whipple's going to do it.
The problem is Mark Whipple doesn't agree with simple is better. No. And tomorrow for Nebraska to have any chance, simple is better. You clearly have a quarterback, whether he was dinged or not, that the game is moving fast for him. Okay, at this point in his development, how do you help him? You slow the game down and you make it simple. You put him into positions to succeed. You do a good job that with your other skill guys of putting him in a position to succeed and matching their level of talent. Well, match the level of where you think Chubba Purdy is right now instead of where you want him to be, where he actually is. We've gone through this before of calling plays for a quarterback that you want him to be this, but he is not that at his current state. So can an offensive play caller
also to go
do
back
simple is better tomorrow zone reads? And it's not just Logan Smothers. It's Chubba Purdy, under center, quick game, that kind of stuff. I think Trey Palmer will have more opportunities to be open when he begins Illinois. But is there somebody currently on the roster that is good enough to get him the football that is not just chucking it down the field and having him outrun a defensive back?
I just don't think they're going to change what they've been doing. We've seen a different offense for exactly one half this season, and that was the second half against North Dakota. And that was Scott Frost's offense because he took over. Remember when he went to the locker room? He said, "It's bad. Everything's bad. We're actually maybe going to lose to North Dakota today." So he took over the reins. And other than that, it's been the same offense for every game and every half this season. So I just don't think that we're going to see much of a difference there on Saturday. I could be proven wrong here. I will say this, like we could get a different Chubba Purdy on Saturday. We could get a different Chubba Purdy tomorrow because this adds to the craziness of last week too. He was hurt. He didn't practice a couple days last week, and still that happened. And now he's good apparently. So you have a full week, taking all the reps with the ones. You're not hurt. we could get a different Chubba Purdy tomorrow, and that's obviously a big part of the equation. But as far as how the offense looks, I really, really hesitate to say we're going to see anything different.
If it is that case, it's an influence of the guy that is running the show, and that's a great sign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nebraska has the best position to win a football game tomorrow. I think you will see a good amount of Logan Smothers. I believe Purdy will start, but I do think you will see Smothers because I think and unless Chubba Purdy is just fantastic and he just is reincarnated into a different version of himself, and he looks like another part of this equation tomorrow is what if he looks like the quarterback of the future? I mean, all of a sudden he's just completely different than what we've seen, the sample size we've seen. I don't see it, but then you would be like, whoa, and then it just adds to last week, and okay.
Yeah.
But what is the leash if he doesn't? Because you got guys that are in headsets and helmets that are like, okay,
well,
we've seen this. What are we doing? Hello.
Another thing that happens, Gary, when quarterbacks don't perform well and there's already a buzz to get the third guy going or get the second guy going, you start hearing it from the crowd, and you'll start hearing that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a weird day in the
I think people will be surly.
Yeah, I think so. Surly Brewing in Minneapolis. There you go.
That's a good tie-in.
That's really good. It's a really good place. I always make sure to go there when I'm there.
All right, Brett Ciancia is going to join us here in a little bit. Lee Sterling in the hour as well. Paramount Sports has been on a heater. Also, we'll talk to Mike Sauter. There is high school football tonight. Bellevue West and Gretna rematch. You've got Lincoln Southwest taking on West Side. Also, Elkhorn South and Omaha Creighton Prep and Millard South with the winner. He's already up for male athlete of the year at the high school level, Cam Kozel.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even announce that or vote on it until this next late spring.
Yeah,
but he's already in the mix.
Oh, I would think so.
Millard South travels to Grand Island as we try and make it an all-metro Final Four in Class A.
Now, Cam Kozel can't. You can't use what he did last spring in baseball to his advantage this time, but he can use it for this.
But I believe spring. That he will be okay once he comes spring.
Yeah, my gut says that he'll probably perform pretty well this coming spring too.
Yeah, and a guy that's going to go to Vanderbilt probably gets into the mix.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
I mean, I don't want to steal Stu Possible's thunder. I'm just saying that probably is your male athlete of the year. That's Connor. Mike is here on site. Dan back in studio. I'm Gary. This is On the Road Football Friday Fiesta ahead of Nebraska and Minnesota, live from Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village on 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Kathy Kenoyer. 'Tis the season at Glass House Market with Kenoyer Garden Center. We'd like to invite you to come shop our stunning holiday market where you'll find a perfect gift for that special someone or the Christmas decor you've been wanting. Join our family for the open house November 5th and 6th to help us celebrate the holiday season. Glass House Market located within Kenoyer Garden Center on 66th Street between Cornhusker and Highway 370 in Papillion.
At Kenoyer Garden Center, everybody's got a green thumb.
The college basketball season is here, and if you're looking for tickets to the biggest games, be sure to check out ticketsforless.com. Whether you love the Huskers, Creighton, or UNO, ticketsforless.com has the best selection of seats with all no per ticket fees. Plus, you can save on every ticket when you order using the promo code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com. That's right. Simply enter the code THEZONE at checkout, and you'll save on basketball tickets to Nebraska, Creighton, and UNO. And you'll save just because you're listening to the show as well. Shop for seats for your favorite events now and save at ticketsforless.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending Ooma and their all-in-one phone, video, and collaboration solution.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's discount deal is to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Ted and Wally's has an awesome treat this week with $50 worth of ice cream and sweet treats for just $25. This deal is good at both Ted and Wally's locations, 12th and Jackson in the Old Market and 60th and Maple in Benson.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Now is the time for a furnace inspection, and McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help. An annual furnace inspection and tune-up from McCarthy's is essential to keep dangerous carbon monoxide from leaking into your home. Join McCarthy's Comfort Club and get a twice annual inspection of your furnace and AC, discounts on repairs, and priority service, all for a low monthly price that will never go up. Visit McCarthy's1hour.com and schedule your furnace tune-up. Stay warm and safe with McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. Always on time or you don't pay a dime.
We've been telling you about FanDuel. Now I'm just going to tell you this. It's a perfect time to download FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Why should I download FanDuel, you say? Well, guess what? New customers are going to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you have to do is sign up with promo code ZONE. I was helping people the other day. Say, got to download FanDuel. Look at what you can win. Yeah, all your favorite bets from the money line to the point spreads to player props. Get your winnings fast, live betting, updated odds, all of that on a safe, secure, and super easy-to-use app. Sign up today with promo code ZONE for your first no-sweat first bet. That's promo code ZONE. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. It is the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Sign up today, promo code ZONE, promo code ZONE. 21 over present Iowa. First online real money wager only. Refund issued, non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
He looked like he was running in slow motion during that open field run.
He's a strider.
So would that equate to him being a slightly more athletic Ben Roethlisberger? What's happening with him running the ball?
Because they're taking the DBs and secondary downfield.
Catch After Hours 6 to 8 Monday through Friday, or as the sports schedule allows. Brought to you by Iowa Western Community College and Payne West on 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. 1620 The Zone.
Oh, my man, Dan, on a Friday. The music selection, maybe it has to do with Connor is here, is on point.
These are not my picks, but I do like them.
What would be your number one pick for
oh, my God. Well, I was just talking about the other day. I really appreciate that Kyle Schwarber walks up to Thuggish Ruggish Bone. As you know, he's done that his entire career. That is a great walk-up song.
Can you repeat what you just said?
I really appreciate that Kyle Schwarber walks up to Thuggish Ruggish Bone. What?
No, I like that.
You saw him as a Cub. He walked up to it as a Cub. But just imagine the feeling when you walk up to the batter's box and this, like, the whole stadium, they don't know what's going on, but it's the Thuggish. Like, that is awesome. That is really, really cool.
Hey, something that has bouncing around in my head because I listened to Travis Fisher last night on the radio, and we all like to play fantasy build your staff.
Oh, yeah.
We
do that all the time.
So
who's the best defensive line coach in the country?
The Travis Fisher love. Now, remember, assistant coaches outside of the radio appearance, they aren't being interviewed. So they're kind of out of sight, sometimes out of mind. But the Travis Fisher, nobody you run into goes, man, if Mickey was the head coach, would he keep Travis Fisher? No, you don't. There's another coach that I wonder, because I think he might be the best coach on this staff, that people don't talk a lot about. Like when you're saying, hey, would Mickey keep, because it's always Applewhite and Bush. How come Sean Becton's name doesn't come up more often? His group consistently over 5 years. And remember, the highest rated tight end that Nebraska's ever recruited has had a sip of coffee in his career at Nebraska, and Thomas Fedoni. But yet there are NFL guys that are coming out of that room. And I don't know. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Sean Becton, but his name doesn't come up when you're going, hey, Mickey should keep XXX.
No.
You never get to the guy that might be the best guy in terms of development and culture in his room, like Sean Becton is with the tight ends.
I know they took that huge tight end class a couple of years ago, and it hasn't, amounted to much so far. And that's with the injury of Fedoni makes it difficult so far. But I mean, like you said in the NFL, look at the hit rate here. I mean, he didn't recruit some of these guys, but Jack Stoll's in the NFL, and Austin Allen's in the NFL, and Travis Vokalek is about to be in the NFL. So, I mean, that's a really big deal. He would be the first name out of the Frost guys that I would say is the biggest asset to a future staff in Nebraska. Like he's the first name off my head. But I'm glad you said that.
He's one of the rare,
because not a lot of people think about
he's
it.
one of the rare guys on that side of the football when this staff came north that you could say that's a Power 5 assistant before he'd ever coached at the University of Nebraska. Now,
look at him, he's got experience.
He would be a guy that if I'm in the state of Florida, if I'm one of the Power 5s in Florida, and Sean Beckton at the end of the year is a free agent, I'm finding a way to put him on my staff.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because he's also got the recruiting connection in the state of Florida where you can say, well, you're in the state of Florida, you really don't need that. But he's got relationships that go way deep.
And that was the big deal with Travis Fisher, last year when he was and really over the last couple of years when he's been courted by SEC schools. They like the fact that he's got experience, played in the NFL and everything like that, but also the recruiting ties are huge.
All right, Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews is coming up next. Hey, where you could come up next is when it comes to FanDuel. You know what? We are already underway. Last night was a great night to start the year, and it's a perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers, you get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up using promo code ZONE. It's safe, secure, super easy to use, and I like me some live betting. Plus, you can bet on money line to point spreads to player props. Sign up today with promo code ZONE for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code ZONE. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook betting partner of the NFL. 21 over present Iowa. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report along I-680 near the IL and Q ramp, so please be cautious if you are in that area. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for some delays from Richland Drive all the way to 84th. And on Dodge, it looks like things are beginning to slow down just a little bit from 80th to 72nd. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Thank you, Omaha. It's triple first-place wins for Fernando's. Fernando's is honored and grateful to you for voting them the best Mexican restaurant in the Best of Omaha and Omaha Choice Awards and Best Margarita in the Omaha Choice Awards. Fernando's, family-owned and community-served.
There are actually two kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
Bill Jones.
And Olivia.
Here for Jones Bros Cupcakes. Have you tried our new chimney cones yet, Olivia?
They are so yummy.
Chimney cones are stacked on a sugar-coated croissant cone with gelato. We have flavors like birthday cake, strawberries and cream, s'mores, salted caramel, and more.
I love the birthday cake chimney cone topped with a mini cupcake. So good.
Come see us at Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village.
We appreciate your support.
Simply Safe was named the best home security of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors and HD cameras are powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for faster police response. Visit simplysafe.com/holiday to get 40% off any new system today. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Are you that relative who's always asked to bring plates and napkins to the family dinner? Bring brews instead, specially quality, locally brewed Nebraska beers and ciders. The Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild wants you to know that local brewers are working on special seasonal beverages to make your holiday family get-togethers a day full of fun, football, and feasting. Lots and lots of feasting. Plus, you'll never be asked to bring plates and napkins again, especially if your goofy cousin from Iowa brings that state's favorite beer. Cheers.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Football Friday Fiesta. First Friday of November, Nebraska, Minnesota tomorrow. Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews right now. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you? Thanks for having
Good.
me.
Are you ready for the game of the century in Athens, Georgia tomorrow? Does it feel like the game of the century?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's college football rule that when it's number 1 versus number 2, we have to. We're required to call it game of the century, but game of the century of the year. But no, it's going to be great. You have the storyline of the season right now is Tennessee. Their resurgence after some dark years there. The first time being ranked number 1 since '98, the national title. So you have that. You have their top offense, probably the top Heisman candidate in Hendon Hooker, going up against the defending champs, and the top defense. They won the national title with that defense last year. So it's strength on strength, and it's going to be an incredible atmosphere Saturday.
Hey, let me ask you one thing. I was kind of teasing Connor earlier because Georgia blew out Oregon to begin the year, and they haven't had another big time opponent on the schedule until now, and they get Tennessee between the hedges. Your thoughts on Georgia? We look at the playoff rankings that came out on Tuesday. We see where Georgia is. Your thoughts, Brett, on Georgia and kind of where their standard is on the heels of the national championship last year?
Yeah, well, that was the big talk in the offseason is how they would replace all their defenders. I think they sent a record number of defenders to the NFL draft in the first round. And my response was, they've recruited at a 5-star clip. It's really just next year's draft picks that are going to be starting this year. So it's new faces, but they're future NFLers. And also with Georgia is that they've rotated their defenders more than anybody else in America last year. When you look at snap counts, when you look at stats, these new faces, these quote unquote new starters are well seasoned vets. So, it's proven out so far. When you adjust for opponent with my numbers, they're the only team in America that's top 5 on both offense and defense right now. So balanced and elite on both sides of the ball. They certainly deserve that number 1 ranking.
Hey, Brett, let's stay in the SEC. Any other week of the year, this is probably the biggest game that we're paying attention to. LSU has a home game at night with Alabama. I guess how do we read into LSU, who obviously had a tough start to the year, has rebounded, got drilled by Tennessee, but the last 2 weeks have looked pretty dang good and beat Ole Miss, last week as well. How do you read into LSU in this game in particular?
Yeah, a lot of credit to Brian Kelly. It got off to a rough start with the loss to Florida State, and looked like it was going to get off the rails there with some off the field stuff. But he's got the locker room back in. They're 6-2. They control their own destiny in the West, which sounds funny to hear, but with the head-to-head over Ole Miss and the opportunity tomorrow with Alabama, they actually control a path to Atlanta. So you're right that this always is the SEC's headliner. It's taken a back seat here, but what a doubleheader! Just another Saturday in the SEC, but. I think look at Jaden Daniels for LSU. He's going to have to play the game of his life. The dual threat quarterback transfer from Arizona State. He's been sharp all season and has hurt teams with his legs too, scrambling. But the matchup that stands out to me and why I picked Alabama is when you look at their pass protection, LSU, bottom 10 in Power 5, and they're going to have to go up against Will Anderson and company. I think Alabama's going to tee off on that line.
Stick with SEC, but let's talk about an opening. Who is the right fit, in your opinion, for what Auburn needs?
Yeah, it's wide open, and it's really a tough job because the standard is so high, and you're placed in a division with Jimbo, with LSU, with Alabama. with the Mississippi schools, you're also placed in a state and a rivalry, the Iron Bowl, with Nick Saban, the greatest coach arguably of all time. So you can churn out 9-3 seasons, 10-win seasons, and you look across the state there, and you have national titles being won in Alabama. So pressure's really high down there. I don't know. I mean, it's wide open. I hear Matt Rule's at the top of that list. I hear Deion Sanders might be interviewing. But it's coaching carousel season. I don't have too many specifics yet. I'm trying to stay up to date with all these games happening.
I see what you're doing. Hey, that Brett, then you would not be good hosting a radio show in Omaha.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I see new names. At the top of the Husker fans leaderboards every week. I see those polls come out, and I don't know. It's crazy out there.
We are 50 plus days in. We have just begun, my friend. There's no doubt about that. Hey, Brett, I want to get your take on the rankings, the college football playoff rankings that came out this week. Any surprises there, or are you in the camp of like, okay, these don't matter for another couple of weeks? Obviously, it's going to sort itself out at the top a little bit more than it is right now. But what'd you take away from the first group of rankings this week that the playoff committee put out?
Yeah, I'm more in that camp about letting it play out, and that's the beauty of November and December here, where out of the top 14 teams, 10 of them are going to face off against each other. There's 10 games between the top 14, so a lot of people want an expanded playoff. I say, hey, November and December is the playoff right here. We're going to actually watch it unfold, and when the dust settles, we're going to have 4 really strong teams, 4 candidates. But I will say I was a little bit upset with TCU's ranking. Yep. I'm a defender of that program. Really, they have the wins to back it up. They have the stats. You watch them; they're elite on offense, and I thought they had a better resume than Michigan and Clemson so far. I have the number 4 in my poll, my FWAA Super 16 poll. So yeah, a little upset with that one. But again, if TCU runs the table, even if they take a loss and win the conference 12-1, they're probably in. But I think the bigger takeaway was the turnaround on some of these programs, just to see some new faces in the rankings. Seeing Illinois in there, Syracuse, a lot of great storylines. Seeing Tennessee up there at number 1. I know it's November, but just to see a number 1 next to Tennessee's name after what they've been through the last 20 years, the last 2 years, really, with the Pruitt coaching change there, all the transfers out of there, incredible stuff.
We don't want to admit that. Well, the committee kind of does admit it, that brands matter. Alabama is a bigger brand than TCU. There, Alabama's ranked ahead of TCU. Is it? Have we embraced that reality yet, Brett, that is, even though we don't like it as football people, that's the truth?
Yeah, it's tough because, on the one hand, Alabama does have the loss. They had a couple close wins that just starts to damage their resume. But when you look at their metrics and the numbers, if you really look at it statistically, they are a top 4 team. But it goes back to the long debate of resume versus, metrics and stats, because if you're going off just the stats, why isn't Alabama above Clemson? Why aren't they above Michigan? Like, why is the line in the sand drawn there at 6 and 7 between them and TCU? So it's just inconsistent, but it's just more of the same from the committee. And again, we're gonna play it out. So I can't get too upset. It's just a shame that TCU, they deserve a top 4 spot right now.
Brett, Notre Dame is course corrected a little bit here. Obviously, had a tough loss to Stanford a few weeks ago. Clemson comes to town. They're a little up and down as well. Not exactly sure if there's a consensus on Clemson at the moment. It's a weird game and a short line, 3.5 point spread. I guess, how do you read into this Clemson Notre Dame game tomorrow evening?
Yeah, close spread. Notre Dame fans have had this one circled for a while. I mean, they took the bad start to the season, but they all were saying, hey, at least we have Clemson coming in. That's going to be an epic environment. We'll try and spoil their season. So they have this one circled. I think the first reactions with Clemson is the offense is struggling like we kind of thought it would. The reason that everyone picked them to go far was their defense. And when you look at it, it's not as elite as we thought. I think that what we thought we had with Clemson was a top 5, even a number 1, arguably, defense. They're barely top 20 right now. Notre Dame's actually ranked higher in my per-play metrics there on defense. So waiting for that defense to show its true form with Clemson. In the meantime, credit Marcus Freeman for rallying them. It was a rough start. The heat was already turned up on him, and they're playing some good football. I mean, they're starting to stack some big wins. They're the only team that beat UNC. They beat Syracuse by way more than Clemson did. You could argue that Syracuse should have won that Clemson game, if not for a couple late penalties. But so I know it's tough to compare against common opponents, but the Syracuse matchups are pretty illuminating. So I agree with that close spread. It could go either way. It's a coin flip.
Yeah, it's tough figuring out who Notre Dame is. I mean, they still have on their ledger home losses to Marshall and Stanford, but they've won 5 of 6. That'll be a fun primetime game. Let's go to the Big 12 real quick. What do you make of? Well, I know what you make of Kansas State, and the other Adrian Martinez is a game time decision. If not, Will Howard starts. They're coming off of the Oklahoma State thrashing, but in comes Texas. If I just told you, hey, I'm having trouble figuring out who Notre Dame is, who is Texas, Brett?
Yeah, well, I guess first off with the Big 12, this is kind of the Nebraska coaching carousel watch list, right? It seems like every week it's all your,
I see what you did there.
Candidates battling each other out for the hearts and minds of Husker fans. But with this one specifically, with Texas, they're hot and cold too. I mean, they took Alabama to the ropes. They lost a couple one-score games. They had Oklahoma State, but they lost the penalty battle 0-15. It was Flag City in that one. It could have flipped that outcome. I think Texas is a strong team. I'm actually going to pick them to win this week, and that's credit to Kansas State for blowing out Oklahoma State. I don't know how sustainable that 48-0 is. It was it's just one of those head scratcher box scores. I don't know what to make of it, but both are really strong teams, and both could contend for Big 12 titles here. But I'm going to go with Texas.
Do you like Illinois to finish out and win the Big 10 West?
Yeah, after what I saw Saturday again, I mean, I kept waiting for Illinois to be in the big spotlight, and I know Nebraska's going through a down year and a coaching change, but that defense is suffocating from Illinois. I mean, really strong, especially the second half when the backup quarterback came in. I think they held Nebraska to something like 30 yards in the second half. But, when I watch Illinois, it's just a competent, they do everything right. They don't hurt themselves. Smart coaching decisions. Bielema was not scared to take 3 points. I know everyone else in America is right now, but he'll take a field goal and he'll keep chipping away. And then you look up and you're down 3 scores. So, I think they're a very strong team, and that's enough to win the West. They're definitely my projected favorite in the West. I'll take them in the head-to-head over Purdue, and then to win the West. Now, I think they'll lose to Michigan. It'll be a tough test, but I think they still have the inner track.
I want that to be on a T-shirt. I'll take a field goal.
How rare is that anymore? It's like I think we're going to look back in 20 years and say, oh, remember those analytics days where everyone was going for it on fourth down? Oh, what a weird era, because it just I scratch my head at times.
Minnesota, Nebraska. It's the spread is 16. Nebraska going to play a backup quarterback. Backup quarterbacks have not had much success around here going back almost a decade plus. Minnesota, I think, looked more like Minnesota against Rutgers than they did against Penn State. Tanner Morgan is healthy. He's back. They still have Mo in the backfield. Going to be a November weather type day in Lincoln. Your thoughts on Minnesota and Nebraska?
Yeah, I think with Minnesota, this was a team that was going to be, after September, you were thinking they were going to be the West winner. They went through a couple losses, took some injuries there, like you mentioned, a quarterback, but Morgan is back healthy. Mo Ibrahim, definitely one of the best backs in the conference. You're going to have to deal with a power run game again. Chris Altman-Bell, their star receiver. They haven't taken off as we originally expected. They brought back Chris Sriracha, the offensive coordinator from that 2019 run. They're a strong, competent team, though, just like I got done saying about Illinois. So going to be a tough one, especially without Casey Thompson. I think he's the game changer. The reason why Nebraska is one of the most explosive in the conference when he's healthy. Without him, it's going to be tough. I mean, I watched that second half, like I said, against Illinois, and it was hard to move the ball. So look for more of the same. I do have Minnesota winning here.
All right, on the helmet board, do you have a one that you like as an underdog that will pull off an upset tomorrow?
Oof. Well, Baylor, Oklahoma has my eye right now. I know that's only a 3-point spread. That is an upset. I'm going to go with Baylor over Oklahoma. And I know it's crazy to hear, but I still am undecided with Tennessee, Georgia. It's really, the numbers versus my heart, because the numbers are printing out that Georgia's going to win by 13 points. But just from watching these teams and seeing the storylines of Tennessee, and it's pulling me towards calling for the Tennessee upset. And I know that 92% of America, I saw the number, have bet on Tennessee so far. It's brought the number down from 12 to 8. So sometimes you get worried hopping in with the entire betting population like that. But we'll see. I still have to decide on that one.
All right. Hey, great stuff. Enjoy the weekend. And, it's college football. Now we're into November. Crazy things happen. We'll see what this weekend is like with some great games. Brett, as always, appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy it. See ya.
Brett Cianza from Pick Six Previews, who joins us every Friday. People watching Tennessee, if you're in Nebraska's situation, Miami, Florida State, even Florida, encouraging or depressing?
Oh, obviously a great cocktail of both, Gary. Both. It's all encouraging and it's all depressing.
Do you have your smoking jacket on? That was like, I thought you were going to go into this. Well, kid, let me tell you. I was all of a sudden going to be sitting next to Hugh Hefner.
Well, it really depends on your point of view, Gary. You know, do you want to be excited about the future, or do you choose to wallow in pain and sadness?
There will be some fellas on the field. There'll be talent on talent. I can't wait to see Georgia's back end. Now, not having Nolan Smith is a big loss for Georgia, but they're back in against the wide receivers of Tennessee. And it's not just Hyatt. It's not Hooker finding Hyatt. They've got a plethora of wide receivers. I think this is a game that does feel like it'll live up to the billing, but it feels like a game, even with that vaunted Georgia defense, that could be a scoring free-for-all. Like a 42-39, everybody at 6 o'clock tomorrow is glued into CBS.
With that being said, if Tennessee wins tomorrow, is Hendon Hooker a lock for the Heisman?
I won't say lock, but he probably slides ahead of C.J. Stroud until
he might be there already.
Stroud.
Well, you're going to have a C.J. Stroud. If he's going to win it, he'll have a moment.
He'll get a moment against Michigan and possibly the last go around, but Hooker could get one too against whoever they play in the SEC championship game.
Right.
But those are definitely 1 and 2.
I don't think there's any doubt.
James Franklin said something yesterday is not about his team. He just kind of reiterated everything that we're feeling about the Big Ten in 2024, that it will be one model, and it'll be 16 teams. He did not say pods. He said it will be a 16-team conference.
And you just get who you get on the schedule?
So it's the scenario that Scott Docterman started, and we've all kind of plugged and played with teams, is you would have 3 protected rivalries.
I mean, that is a pod. That's a pod. They're
kind of, but
not like
because,
a championship.
But you may have some protected rivalries or suggested rivalries that are not necessarily in your regional area.
Right. So you get one outside the pod, and then you get another in another quote unquote pod. I mean, that's a pod system, basically. I put it together in one of my dumb spreadsheets this summer, but basically you play the 3, or I think it's 3 teams, whoever's, so for Nebraska, it's maybe Iowa, Wisconsin, or Minnesota, or maybe Iowa, Minnesota, and UCLA, or something like that. And then you play one from each of the sort of other groups, and maybe one of them is a protected rivalry. So, in the instance where Purdue and Indiana aren't in the same area, they will still play each other, every year. So, I mean, that's where we're headed. That's where we're going. There's not going to be any divisions, which is sad.
No.
You lose the identity of the Big Ten West. The sickos are going to be very sad that the Big Ten West was going to die.
There will be some people that will be very sad that you cannot have a Big Ten West identity to win.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to change what Iowa and Wisconsin are going to do. It's not going to change what Minnesota's attempting to do. But it does change things a little bit for the teams who, like Nebraska, who doesn't know exactly where they're headed or what they're going to do yet. Like, you don't have to build your identity around trying to be like Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. You just got to find a way to beat them.
And this is when it all becomes final. You will get a lot of television influence, that the television doesn't want 8 love East against West on the first weekend in December. They want better matchups in the final. He didn't mention like a pod system. All he said is we'll have 3 suggested rivalries. Then after that, it's kind of whatever happens with our schedule.
Yeah.
And scheduling.
They rotate through it a little bit. I mean, you got 8 or 9 games to fill, probably still 9, right? You got 9 games to fill because the TV networks they're going to want 9 instead of 8.
Well, and you also have, I mean, this has been talked over and over, the brands of the Big Ten are not going to be playing Maryland, Rutgers, and Northwestern on a regular basis.
It's part of the deal. Sorry, Nebraska. I mean, you are a brand of the Big Ten, and you're going to play Indiana once every 5 years. Like that's the deal here. I mean, Nebraska
is that the case now?
Yeah, Nebraska still only played Indiana 3 times, right?
Is 15 the only trip that Nebraska's made to Bloomington?
They
only made one trip to Bloomington?
You're 16. So they went there in 16, and Indiana's came here twice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Well, we gotten to go to Rutgers a couple times.
And they've only been to the Big House twice. They'll go for the third time next weekend.
Luke Bryan is the picker, if you're wondering.
Mm.
Country superstar Luke Bryan, who ironically will be hosting the CMAs with Peyton Manning on ABC.
Peyton Manning.
So let's see. He's tied to ABC Disney, and he's the picker.
Huh.
Now, he's a Georgia fan.
Shocking.
Not as big a Georgia fan as Jason Aldean, who you're a big fan of. Country superstar.
As you know, I'm
big
a huge
Georgia
country
fan.
music guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
the first concert ever at Georgia Stadium was Jason Aldean.
Okay, that's cool. He does I have heard that he does a big-time show. I haven't been to one.
They for the longest time, just like Memorial Stadium, they fought against hosting a concert there because of the hedges.
Yeah. Well, you got to protect the hedges at all costs. Those things just don't come back overnight. People diving in the hedges, throwing their beer cans in the hedges.
We're gonna get Lee Sterling on the other side. We have not brought this up because we started talking about the names that have been mentioned, and especially yesterday. Did Mr. Chadwell enter the conversation? Watch Coastal Carolina Appalachian State last night.
Yeah, I saw a couple clips, and a couple people were like, "Hey, this would be, this feels like a fit potentially at Nebraska." I did see the clip of just running the triple option to perfection.
He has. So they have McCall is back, but they have had. I mean, they turned over that roster from last year, and he's still winning.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
if Hugh Freeze was not somebody who'd already been in the SEC and had won a couple of times against Saban, and you're Auburn, and that's maybe the way you're leaning, I don't know why Mr. Chadwell would not be on your radar. Now, he may be on a Georgia Tech radar.
Oh, I think people at Auburn, I mean, you think we're overreactive to coaches that we've hired before and sort of cycled through based on their resumes. There is no way that the Auburn fans would say, "Oh, yes, bring me another group of 5 coach," after what we just went through with Brian Harsin. Bring me Jamie Chadwell now. They would not enjoy that. No, they're searching for the big fish. I don't know if they're going to find one, or I would like to see Auburn just take a wild swing. I wouldn't you love to see Deion at Auburn? I would love to see what would happen.
I'm thinking there's people in the SEC don't want him there because of his ability to attract recruits and people wanting to go play there.
Yeah.
Probably other coaches would be like, "Oh, no." Now, the bigger names in the league are like, "No, we're good."
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in that league and I'm in the middle tier, that's probably somebody you don't want to see.
Auburn is definitely in the middle tier. I mean, they need to take a swing probably. That feels like the Auburn way. I don't feel like they're going back to the group of 5 ranks to find a coach. Although it would be sensible, Gary. I don't think they're going back to that.
Would you consider Hugh Freeze a group of 5 coach?
Not exactly. He's a little bit different, right?
To me, he's the fit for them.
Yeah. I mean, he's the name that you think of right away for that job.
And he get to, Kiffin went to Ole Miss, left Alabama. He's at Ole Miss. He's revitalized his career. Freeze went to Liberty, has had success. Now he's back in the SEC, and just let it rip, baby.
No, it could be just
Hugh Freeze with a big NIL collective.
Watch out. And it's perfect because it's just weird enough, too. There might be, you might coach a game from a hospital bed or something like that.
Or maybe Auburn says, "Screw that. Matt Rule, we'll do whatever you want, baby."
Yeah. I feel like Freeze is the guy that they'd be circling for sure.
All right, Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports coming up next. Mike Sauter as well. High school football quarterfinals, state volleyball tournament going on. Lincoln Lutheran. I got to 38-0. We have Class A semifinals today. My and your Papio South Titan volleyball program, our Scott Catholic volleyball program.
Yep, huge fan.
All the programs that are winners, we adopted them.
Yeah, we might be a little bit of bandwagon high school volleyball fans, but that's okay.
Hey, they both have really good head coaches. They produce some really good talent. Yeah. All right, shout out Lindsey Krause. That's Connor. I'm Gary. Mike is here as well. Dan Campen back in the studios. We're at Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village on 1620 The Zone. Hey, coming up on Wednesday is a fantastic event. Jay Glazer will be in town for the Kim Foundation's annual luncheon, a time for hope and healing at Embassy Suites in La Vista. It's coming up on Wednesday, November 9th from 11:30 to 1. Now, the Kim Foundation, they have worked to increase awareness around mental health and suicide prevention here in the state of Nebraska. And they are a vital communication link between individuals, organizations, and communities. And they are bringing in Fox insider Jay Glazer, who has written a book, Unbreakable, about his journey to battle mental health and how he is able to live day to day. He'll share his story. You can hear him and be part of this great luncheon and this great organization. You can find out more at thekimfoundation.org. That's thekimfoundation.org. Tickets are only $75. Jay Glazer, the speaker this year in the Kim Foundation's Time for Hope and Healing event on Wednesday at Embassy Suites in La Vista from 11:30 to 1. Check them out online. Purchase tickets at thekimfoundation.org.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
I'm going to bury a take in here. S'mores are overrated.
Whoa! What kind of a monster are you? Explain yourself. Show your work, Connor.
Melted marshmallow, guys?
Delicious.
No. Not really. Not really at all. Why? Marshmallow is not a good thing. Marshmallows aren't good.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, I'm Casey Kane. You would think that as NASCAR's 2004 Rookie of the Year, I get my biggest thrill driving fast. But it's off the racetrack that I get one of life's greatest rewards, helping others through volunteer service. Working with kids is one way that I try to make a difference. The first time I visited chronically ill children in the hospital, I found out just how rewarding volunteering could be. By giving a little of my time, it brightened their day. I was so inspired that I started my own foundation to help sick children and kids without an opportunity to have a better chance at life. Through volunteer service, you learn things about the people you're helping, and you find out a few things about yourself. Volunteering is a rush, just like taking the checkered flag. Go to volunteer.gov to find out what drives you.
This is President George W. Bush. USA Freedom Corps has a volunteer opportunity that's just right for you. Visit volunteer.gov. When you help your neighbor, you help your nation.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Wet and chilly weather Friday with rain expected throughout the morning. Showers become more spotty in the afternoon with a north breeze gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. Highs will only top out in the low 40s. More showers expected overnight, then changing to wet snow after midnight. 1 to 3 inches of slushy accumulation possible in the metro by Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burden AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report along I-680 near the IL and Q ramp, so please be cautious if you are in that area. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for some delays from Richland Drive all the way to 84th. And on Dodge, it looks like things are beginning to slow down just a little bit from 80th to 72nd. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Right now, we'll open your drain line for only $93 or it's free. Call for details or request service at justcallburton.com.
Hey
everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. It has been a great summer, but a new school year. The fall, crisp, cool weather will be upon us before you know it, and it is time for you to transition into crisp, clear vision. Who can help you do that? Of course, the fine folks at Kugler Vision, voted Best of Omaha, #1 LASIK provider in Omaha Magazine. They changed my life in 2018. They can change your life today. Visit their website, schedule a consultation, KuglerVision.com.
Omaha Maverick Hockey is on a 3-game winning streak and takes on conference rival number 10 North Dakota Friday and Saturday night. Get your tickets now at the Baxter Arena box office by calling 402-554-6200 or at omavs.com/tigs.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
John, what are you doing? Get in my car. So why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They're draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Oh, wait. You're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code PHIL. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL.
Ted and Wally's is probably one of the best ways to stand out at your holiday party, whether you are, hosting it for yourself or you're going to one. Ted and Wally's, they're doing their Thanksgiving orders right now. You can do them for parties, tailgate, even Thanksgiving coming up. They're celebrating 35 years this year, and they're doing that with different flavors every single day at both of their Ted and Wally's locations. You can check them out up in Benson or downtown. I love the fact that they will post up their menus every day on their social media. So make sure to go follow them, tedandwallys.com.
Listen to Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay Overtime, the Creighton men's basketball postgame show on 1620 The Zone. Live from DJ's Dugout downtown. It's right after every home game, presented by Barry Law. Exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back to Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe, a football Friday fiesta ahead of Nebraska and Minnesota. We'll have more on the Huskers and the Gophers, but right now we have to talk to a guy that is on a heater. Our friend on Friday from Paramount Sports, Lee Sterling. There might not be anybody as hot as Lee in Paramount Sports right now. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning. Yeah, it's been fun. When you lose, it is horrible. I mean, I feel terrible. So that's when I win. I savor the moment.
So humble.
Yeah.
So humble.
You just said, I said, Lee, you guys are on a roll, and you are. You hit the NFL Game of the Year last week. You've won 10 out of 12 weeks to start the season. I go, you're on a roll, and you go, yeah, it's fun. You've been in this business for a long time, but Paramount Sports and what you do for us on Fridays and what you do for the customers, you are making a lot of people some money.
Yeah, we are. So it's been a great year. My 29th year. This is probably one of the 2 or 3 best years. So let's keep rolling. Let's not look back.
All right, let's start with a game in the Big 12. So TCU, they find out where they are in the eyes of the playoff committee, and it's still early, but they have an intriguing game against Texas Tech. They're a 9-point favorite. This game being played in Fort Worth. Where are you leaning in this Big 12 showdown?
So if they keep winning and they win out, they're going to be in the playoff. I don't think where they are right now means that much. So you're matched up against Tech, and Tech at home. I hate going against Tech at home because they show up sometimes and they play great. But let's look at what they did last week. Dave Aranda put together a defense that induced Texas Tech into throwing 5 interceptions, and their quarterbacks were 12 for 38. They have some clunkers like that. Now, can anything happen? Can they, put up 20, 30, maybe 40 points? It's possible. The one constant here is cool hand Luke Max Dugan. 22 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. He is right behind Hendon Hooker right now. They're winning different ways. I do think eventually they're going to lose. It's not going to be this weekend here. TCU at home by double digits, 45-28.
All right, let's go. Let's go to game of the week, Lee. We got Georgia. We got Tennessee. Georgia hasn't been tested in a while. They're giving up 8 points here. Tennessee, though, they are the hottest team. I imagine they are a very popular public bet this weekend as well. What do you think in the game of the week here?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. So right now, 82% of the bets coming in are on Tennessee. Public loves anything over a touchdown, they're going to keep taking them. But believe it or not, 61% of the money's coming in on Georgia. Shows you most of the sharps think that Georgia's the right side. A lot of times after you win a national title, everyone's telling you how great you are. You've been there, done that. So you pick and choose your spots. This isn't a best out of 5, best out of 7 series. Georgia just needs to win one time at home. I think they have the players, the scheme, the coaches to get it done. Everyone's going to watch because of the Vols' number 1 offense against Georgia's number 4 defense and last year's defense. It was maybe the best we've seen in the last 15, 20 years. But the weakest link is the Vols' number 82nd ranked defense. Pop in the tape and watch what Georgia did to Oregon. And I think there's a chance we might see almost a repeat there. I like Georgia 48-34. Should be a great game here, but I think Tennessee's defense is going to crack.
Hey, let's talk about Purdue and Iowa. It's the Charlie Jones game now at Purdue, and he was glad to get away from Spencer Petras. Purdue, they're only a 4-point favorite. Does that line seem a little odd to you?
Only because Iowa's defense is so good. They've only had one, game which was not very good at all, where Ohio State put 54 up on them. But that was pretty much powered by all the Hawkeye giveaways in that game. Their defense has held every other Big Ten opponent to fewer points than their average. I do not like backing Purdue as a favorite. Since 2018, Jeff Brom, 5-11 as a home favorite. That is not good at all. They might win here, but I think the Iowa offense is actually improving slowly. I should have said it even slow. I think Iowa might be able to get the job done here. Wrong team favorite. Hawkeyes, 24-20.
Let's stay in the Big Ten. Lee, Illinois is the clear-cut Big Ten West favorite right now, and the spreads are starting to show it. They get Michigan State. Illinois is a 16-point favorite. Which way are you thinking this one?
So if this game was early in the season, Illinois might be 6 or 7 at most. I think the way the game is set up after Michigan State losing against Big Brother certainly factors into this game here. Look at both of the matchups that Illinois has. I think Illinois is going to be able to run the ball on Michigan State with a team right now that's depleted due to all those suspensions and just getting beat up by Michigan. And then how is Michigan State going to move on this defense? This defense is so strong at the point of attack, 3rd and long situations. I think we might see a couple turnovers here. Michigan State, this roster is just there's not much talent on this roster here. I don't like laying double digits with Illinois, but I still think it's the right side, 28-10.
Yeah, 8 guys suspended for Michigan State. All right, let's come closer to home. This is one of the rare teams since '98 that's come into Lincoln, Lee, that is a double figure favorite against Nebraska that is not named Ohio State. That line is 16. Minnesota, Nebraska, your feel?
Well, I think the line, now we're only guessing, I am not sure. I have a feeling Casey Thompson's not going to play.
Yep.
And what happened after he went out? 29 yards in 22nd half plays. The injuries are mounting elsewhere also. And that's what happens when team loses. Teams that win, guys find a way to play. It's crazy. Yeah. I've seen it happen before. And, guys, just not finding ways to get on the field. And, except for a few instances this year, guys have not played up to their talent level. Minnesota's going to run the football here early in Austin. And I think that's the matchup that poses a problem to Nebraska. You got to win battles at the point of attack. And Minnesota does that, running the football, one of the best running backs in the conference. I like Minnesota here big, 38-10.
All right, Lee, you got to lean on your game of the week this week, Wisconsin and Maryland. It is Wisconsin at home. They're giving 5 to Maryland. I guess, how do we get this game?
Just call 800-400-9741. We're going to try to keep this thing rolling. And also our game of the year. How about this? Game of the year in college football goes on Saturday. It's ready for release right now. I want to have my clients get in on it before the line goes up. And I think it's going to be another winner like New England. So Going to try to move our mark on our biggest top plays, 40 to 50 units, to 55 and 18. Anyone wants to get involved? We don't call it November. We call it Dovember. The rest of November, that's right, 4 weeks. And there's games every Tuesday and Wednesday night with Maction going on now. So get plays every single day. Just $2.97 for our phone service through November 30th. Or you want to get through the Super Bowl. We're not even halfway through the NFL season. You get all of college football regular season, NFL regular season, 36 bowl games, NFL playoffs, and Super Bowl, just $597. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
Lee, we appreciate it. Thanks for working with us.
Okay, thanks, guys.
It's Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports. We disagree, or I disagree. He said 38-10. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. I think Nebraska's defense doesn't just completely fall apart. Now, I don't know how much help they're going to get from the offense.
I keep
leaning on 27-17.
That's the problem. The problem is the offense. Like, how much help are you going to get from them? If you're turning the ball over and give it to them in good situations, then you're in really big trouble. And then the defense can only hold for so long. I was surprised. So Purdue and Iowa is interesting this week. It's a big game for Purdue to sort of stay in the Big Ten West. Iowa's, maybe you could say they're turning the corner, but they just beat Northwestern, so I don't know how significant it is. Purdue has sort of had Iowa's number in this series, and it's a Charlie Jones game, as you said. I was surprised to hear him go with Iowa. I sort of like Purdue. I think that's a good spot for them.
I'm with you. The line is kind of interesting to me.
3.5.
But I mean, what do we know about Purdue?
We know Charlie Jones exists.
We do.
Charlie Jones revenge game.
But against that defense,
but that's the thing. Like they've owned them. Like Braum has been all over.
Well,
Iowa.
last year was a big. I mean, they upset Iowa in Iowa City when you thought Iowa was starting to roll.
Yeah.
And I mean, they ended up winning the West Division, but they were unbeaten and they were getting a lot of love.
Braum's won 4 out of 5 against.
There's
Iowa.
a couple of games that are important to coaches when you're trying to look at, okay, are they legit? PJ Fleck winning at Nebraska as a 16-point favorite.
Yeah.
Jeff Braum beating Iowa in West Lafayette, where he has had success and has beaten some really good Iowa teams at home and on the road. Yeah, that's probably the game that's got my most interest in the Big Ten. My second would be Lee's game of the week in college football, and that's Wisconsin and Maryland.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
So there's been a lot of chatter about Jim Leonhard at Wisconsin. You think there's been chatter about Mickey Joseph here at Nebraska and the coaching search that's going on? At Wisconsin, they're trying to figure out, is Leonhard the guy? Why haven't they announced him as the guy? Is there a contract issue going on? Is he on the same page as an athletic director? There's all kinds of stories in Madison, but yet Wisconsin, coming off last week, as Wisconsin kind of found their stride, and in the month of November, and everything is settled down, and here they go. They're playing Maryland, who has been a little up and down, disjointed. But I like Wisconsin as a 4 to 5 point favorite in that game.
Interesting. They haven't been good recently in their wins. Maryland has a couple straight wins against Indiana and Northwestern. But I mean, their losses. They lost to Purdue in a game that they arguably should have won. And then they had the really close game with Michigan early in the season where they really tested them as well. And they're the only team to really do so yet. I don't know. I mean, obviously it gets tough for them down the stretch. Maryland finishes with Wisconsin, Penn State, Ohio State, and then they finish with they end the season with Rutgers, obviously. But so it's going to be a tough, final four for them. But this is interesting. This could be, if they win on Saturday, it's an 8-win Maryland team. And we got to be prepared for a world where Maryland wins 8 games and Nebraska wins 3.
Well,
they're always comparing them to somebody.
In a world where Mike Loxley has recruited well.
Yeah. It's not particularly surprising. Watching them, I've been impressed by their offensive line. They got that thing sort of figured out. So it probably bodes well for them in the future, regardless of how it turns out on Saturday.
All right, coming up here in a little bit, we'll talk to Mike Sauter. Again, it is quarterfinal Friday night across the state with high school football. You got state volleyball that is going on. Nebraska is stealing commitments from Minnesota in volleyball. We got hockey down the street tonight between Omaha and North Dakota. Mavs need to win at home. They haven't been great on home ice, and now they take on number 10 North Dakota, who has not been very good of late. But all the green people will be in Exarban Village. They'll be drinking beer, and they'll be eating all the cupcakes here at Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe. Eating all the cupcakes.
Run them out of cupcakes. Look at all those cupcakes. They sit us right in front of the cupcake, wall here.
They did. Shout out to Les Vogler, who Les stopped by to say hello. Vogler Cattle in Ashland. Stopped by, dropped off some swag, and grabbed some cupcakes for his office.
Yeah, what are you going to do with all those hats?
Sell them. Would you like a T-shirt?
I am your friend.
You are your friend. I give away swag to my friends.
Okay.
Look at Ravi. Ravi's got all kinds of
gear
now.
Did you swag him out?
I'm just, hey, you're a friend. People are giving me stuff. It's on to you. It doesn't fit me. It fits you. All right, Sauter's coming up in a little bit. Next hour, we got Mike Schaefer and Matt Verzal, and then we'll give our thoughts. We kind of have, but a couple other things that we're looking for tomorrow when Nebraska plays Minnesota. We're going to be quiet for the next couple of days, rightfully so. It's about the game. And then the reaction to how the game plays out. You ride the roller coaster. Buy a ticket, everybody. Buy a ticket.
Oh, we're on board.
Yesterday, everybody, when you get on a roller coaster and it's right
like
there,
Hotel
you were sitting there on the roller coaster and you're all buckled in and you've been sitting there for a while. Yesterday, that roller coaster started to move a little bit and it started to go up the hill, where if you've ridden a roller coaster, it kind of like jars you before you get to the top. And then
you had that concern that your thing wasn't all the way buckled in, like just a brief moment of panic.
And the person that was telling you, oh, the roller coaster is fine. Yeah, you're hearing BS about if it's a good roller coaster or a bad roller coaster. That's kind of what it is. So you're starting the ascent, and then maybe tomorrow you get to the top, or how? That's Nebraska football right now.
Oh, we're rolling. There's a couple more hills left too.
There is Connor. Mike is here as well. Chi from Sweet 98, Power 106, and the new co-host of 1620 The Zone Mornings.
Amazing.
We have not had a female co-host on Sports Talk Radio in Omaha.
I was wondering when you were going to drop that announcement.
She doesn't know it yet.
Oh, well, she knows it
now.
now.
Actually, she's been campaigning because all she wants to talk about is Michigan football. Husband is a huge Michigan fan. But every time I see Chi, she's in Michigan gear.
Yeah, me too.
She goes, I'm not a fan. I go to the big house and root for Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I go, when did Nebraska change their colors to maize and blue?
Yeah, it's really weird. I always see her in Michigan stuff too. I don't know where that's coming from.
I'm not sure how much she knows about like all the sports.
Whoa.
Just kidding.
Whoa.
Just kidding.
She knows all the sports.
Grab this headset real quick so listening audience can hear you before you and I become a thing.
Yep. Fire off a take. You got any takes? Here, we're going to probably turn you on here. Try that. Not that one. Maybe this one. Well, it's not. Probably not.
Maybe neither one of them work.
Perfect.
That was good. That was a good start. That was congratulations.
Well, we're really good at technical difficulties.
But even if they don't allow Chi to be on 1620, you can listen to her on Sweet 98.
That's true. And
Power 105, 106.
Power 1069.
I know what the frequency of Power is. Mike, does that headset work? Okay.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But
it doesn't. She tried it.
Yeah. No, we did.
We did. Which one is it?
Go ahead, try it.
Oh,
you got to plug it in.
Come back here real quick.
Yeah, plug it in. That would be the key. And then
okay, this is there you go. There you go.
On.
All right. Thank God we have Mike here.
We would have never figured out to plug it in.
Honestly, I wouldn't have thought to plug it in, which is how
thought it was there. It was plugged in.
That's how we keep IT people with jobs.
It's Mike time.
I think if we can step up our defense and let our defense actually take control, because obviously our offense is a little dicey, a little shaky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very concerned for Casey. But if we can get our defense there, I think we'll be competitive.
That's what
I'm also very hopeful.
You are. You're a very kind person. You're kind and hopeful.
I know, but I mean, Minnesota's not something to like sleep about. Like they're a pretty good team.
Yeah,
they're
16-point favorites.
But I think every team that we're facing in the next 4 weeks are going to be the favorite.
It's definitely it's probably true.
Yeah, it's true.
Get a chance against Iowa, potentially. We'll see what happens with Wisconsin.
Yeah, but we're playing at Iowa.
Yeah. They're probably going to be underdogs in all their games. You're right.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're in a renovation season.
A what?
I'm calling it renovations.
It's not
we're cleaning
rebuilding.
up. We're not rebuilding. We're renovating.
It's renovating.
Because rebuilding implies
You may get a huge wake-up call. That renovation is going to be for a
Stop.
while.
Listen, as a Husker alum, I've been through some coaches. I've seen it.
Okay.
But
so that makes you qualified to co-host a sports talk show in Omaha, Nebraska.
No, nothing makes me qualified.
Okay.
But honestly, what makes you guys qualified?
Hi, I'm campaigning for the job. I am not qualified.
What do you mean, what makes us qualified?
You know what it is? I'm in the building, and I saw a vacancy, much like Nebraska head coach.
Apply for that job too.
I did. If you check my Twitter bio, it says not the future Husker coach.
Well, you never know. You might get it. Trev always, we always thought
Do
there
they
was
have
a mystery
online
name.
applications? It's see, not the future Husker head coach.
There you go.
If it's
Confirmed.
a Twitter
what happens
bio, it's
tomorrow?
there.
Give me a score.
Oh man.
Yeah, you might struggle in this business. You got to.
You know what? I don't appreciate that attitude, and I'm going to need you to stop.
I'm trying to get you coached up.
5 minutes ago, you were just out here lying. Let's do. I'm going to be really generous. 7, Nebraska. I know. Stop. I'm giving us at least 1. I mean, we got Palmer. Like, he's good.
I think they might score more than 7.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not confident. And
that's okay. Hey, look, we can bring this back on Monday. We might look like the dummies here.
No, I'll look like the dummy, but that's okay. That's every day for me. 21.
21-7. 21-7.
Okay.
Nebraska covers.
All right.
Nebraska covers at home.
How's this first experience for you?
This first experience was the same. My first rodeo.
Well,
with you.
No, yeah, we haven't done this. We've done this many times.
But
yeah, the first time with Connor, right?
Yeah, first time with Connor.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You did come in the other day though during the crossover.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you. I don't like your takes on a lot of things. I think it's like a lot of boiled chicken energy. It's like no flavor.
Why do you say that? Why?
It's if you've ever had boiled chicken.
I have not.
I know you haven't.
Not had boiled chicken.
But anybody who has
but
had
when
it
you say
understands.
that, it makes people think that I do eat
You said you
boiled chicken.
don't like cake.
Yeah, I don't really like. I mean, I prefer.
There's
to
a
not
lot
have
of takes
cake.
you have that I'm like,
Cake
I
by
don't
the
know.
Ocean.
Great song.
Bam! I knew we'd bond.
Gary knows music.
He does. There's a new Drake 21 Savage album out today.
And
I know you listen to rap, so.
Well, I haven't, but I'm still trying to work through the Taylor Swift. So.
Oh, I love that for you.
Eventually
it's a
you'll get
softer
there.
side.
Yep.
I'm glad one of us is
I
taking
didn't know
that
21
team.
and Drake are releasing a collab.
They already
album.
did. Her Loss tonight, or it's today. It's out.
Wow.
Yeah, some good stuff.
Huge.
If you like rap, go there.
I do.
It's good stuff. Wow, thanks so
I bet
much.
you could probably hear it on Power 106.9 too.
Yeah, I'm probably going to play a lot of that today.
There you
Okay.
go.
Anything else?
Go Big Red.
Okay, 21-7. We got you on the board.
21-7.
Thanks.
Minnesota. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chi. That is the wonderful, very talented Chi from Woodhouse Auto Family. She is a TV star as well. So she is appearing in a lot of their commercials.
Those voices that you hear.
Yes.
That's her.
Yes. And her acting ability when she goes to buy a truck. Yeah. The awkwardness. But she pulls it off really well.
It's not awkward. It seems very natural when she does it.
Huh. No, how am I rude? I'm just saying it looks awkward. You pull it off really well. No, I didn't say you were awkward. I said they were like the truck selling people.
Do you think you could be an actor?
Yes. I do it Monday through Friday, 6 to 10. All right. Mike Sauter will join us before the hour is over. Hey, give me some butter, man. I'm on a roll.
Stop.
There's
no.
There's Connor. Say it's the weather. It's the weather,
It's
everything
not
that's
the
going
weather.
on.
You're like this every day. You're like this every day.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Too busy thinking about cooking up a final score here.
I'm prepared to be wrong, but I'm giving Nebraska in 16. It doesn't mean I'm saying Nebraska's winning. I'm just saying.
No, I don't think you're that crazy.
I about fell out of my chair when Lee Sterling said 38-10.
38-10.
Yeah.
Well, are we holding our scores officially until later?
Yeah. Well, I think I gave mine earlier, but yes, we'll do it at the end.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I got mine cooked up.
All right. We'll talk to Mr. Sauter coming up next from Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe on 1620 The Zone.
It's an NFL doubleheader on Sports USA. And first, we're in Foxborough as the Indianapolis Colts race into New England to face the Patriots with Mack, Jacoby, and Ramondre Stevenson. Then, it's off to the Sunshine State as Stafford and the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams square off with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Caught! Touchdown, Mike Evans!
It's the Colts at the Pats, then the Rams at the Bucs. This Sunday on Sports USA.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
Greg Gonzalez retired as a tenured and decorated Deputy Chief of Police at the Omaha Police Department. Greg has over 28 years of experience and successfully climbed the ranks from street cop to Deputy Police Chief in charge of hundreds of police officers. Greg holds a bachelor's in criminal justice and a master's in public administration. Greg has the education, executive leadership, and budget experience needed to manage the Douglas County Sheriff's Department. Greg has helped recruit and hire over 450 officers. Greg Gonzalez will hire and train deputies to patrol your neighborhoods and keep you safe at night. Greg is the only candidate who has the executive leadership experience at the ranks of deputy chief, captain, and lieutenant. His opponent does not have the temperament, education, rank, budget, or supervisory experience needed to successfully lead the entire Douglas County Sheriff's Department. Hire the most qualified person for the job. Vote Greg Gonzalez for Douglas County Sheriff.
Hi, I'm Greg Gonzalez, and I approve this message. Paid for by Greg for Sheriff.
Hey, Olivia, what do you think when you think of Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe?
I think, can we go now?
Jones Bros is famous for award-winning cupcakes. Our cafe is delicious for breakfast and lunch, too.
Try French macarons.
And our light bulb boba drinks.
And our ice cream.
And our coffee and lattes.
And our croissant donuts.
We cater, too. Come see us at Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village.
Come on, let's go.
Creighton Sports Update.
Number 13 Creighton Volleyball returns to DJ Sokol Arena this Saturday as they host the Huskies of UConn at noon. Limited tickets are still available online at gocreighton.com/tickets. That's Creighton versus UConn this Saturday at noon. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Home is where your health is, where your family gathers together, takes care of each other. And right there with you is Nebraska Medicine. We're proud to take care of Nebraska, to deliver everything your family needs. From immediate care to neurosurgery, it's expertise you can be confident in. With locations throughout the region and telehealth appointments from the comfort of home. Find a provider close to you at nebraskamed.com.
Home is with you wherever that may be.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. I imagine there are a lot of people out there with really bad roofs waiting for the magic moment. When's the magic moment?
Depends on what type of roof you have. It depends on how old your roof is. I have a customer right now talking about waiting for that hailstorm. Now it's leaking. There's a time where you can't wait for that hailstorm forever.
When it comes time to replace your roof, your gutters, and siding, there's only one call to make. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back in. It is a Weather Friday here in the Big O, but that should not preclude you in the last 90 minutes to getting to Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village. A little bit of rain, a little bit of chill, maybe some snow tomorrow. There is football tonight. There is football tomorrow. There is football Sunday. There is football on Monday. There's football all the time between now and the 23rd of November. Oh, by the way, the state volleyball tournament is going on as well, where we'll be able to see the fine handiwork of Mike Sauter from thenebpreps.com, along with the quarterfinals tonight. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Great morning. Well, I don't know about great. It's a little wet, but good. Good morning.
Are you performing safe sell right now? Are you driving?
I'm actually just getting to Pinnacle Bank Arena for volleyball, and I'm trying to find a place to park. So,
Hey, for people,
that's always fun.
So the finals go to the Devaney Center tomorrow. But for people that have not seen the setup or have been there, how does that work running 2 courts simultaneously?
Well, yeah, they put up just a divider in the middle, and there's it is a little awkward if you've never seen it or been there, because the divider is in the middle with 2 courts, and bands are playing like at the same time. So, on one court, teams could be playing, and then on the other court, it could be a timeout and the band's playing. And it's like, whoa, the band's playing while this other court's going on. There's a lot of moving parts and action, and and then there's during timeouts, the announcers doing the advertising reads and stuff like that. So it can be a little bit awkward. Yeah.
And then you will make your way over to Gretna this evening. Am I wrong? Will you be at Gretna the entire night, or I guess what's your schedule for the day look like?
Well, my plan is to be at Gretna tonight, Gretna Bellevue West Part 2, and then kind of like I did last week, we just see what's happening. If games are close or not or what. And, if I'm at Gretna Bellevue West and it gets to 37-14 with 7 minutes and 9 seconds left, I would probably bail this time.
Wow.
And go, and well, it depends on what the 2 options, just because drive time is closest, would be Prep Elkhorn South or Bellevue West Gretna. But my plan right now is to stay Bellevue West Gretna the whole night. We'll kind of see how that goes.
You and the rest of the state, they'll be there.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it again, just because of the way the first game happened, and frankly, the weather obviously is going to play a factor. Both teams would like to throw it more than they pass it. Is that the nice way of saying that? So I think that will be a challenge. I kind of think it could be low scoring. Now, again, with the weather, do you have fumbles and interceptions and stuff that could change it? But if it's a clean game, I think it's going to be maybe a low scoring one, which is a little bit different.
So Zay needs 10 more yards to become the all-time Class A passing leader. I get the sense that, because I know other people have picked Bellevue West, and Bellevue West has a plethora of weapons, and Isaiah McMorris's stock is shooting through the roof, and all the attention that he is getting. And then you have Danny Kalin, and then, oh, by the way, you have Mike Huffman and his staff coaching this game. Is the way Gretna played Southeast last week, I feel like I'm on Gretna to repeat as state champions has really subsided. Am I reading the room the wrong way?
No, I think that's fair right now. The last thing, though, you want is Mike Gale, his really good staff, and, oh, by the way, the best pure quarterback that we've ever seen in the state's history, as, a little bit of underdog mentality, I think. But I think that's fair. The running game, Weber I don't think is going to go again. He's their starting running back. They've just been beat up by injuries, and when your backup running back hurt his shoulder last week, and you have an offensive lineman that's playing on a bad knee right now for Gretna. There's just a lot of things. They lost Joe Roll early in the year. He was their number 1 wide receiver target. There's a lot of that. Now, Southeast was very physical. I got there at halftime last week, and it was a really physical game. And good thing Tyson Boganowski, picked off a pass in the end zone, or else they might have lost that game. So it'll be a physical game, I think. It's going to be a matter of the the elements and who kind of handles that the best. This is the first time all year that we've dealt with weather in a game.
Yeah.
It hasn't rained. It's been really nice, actually. It hasn't been super cold or anything like that. So this is the first time, but that's why you kind of build teams for the playoff run, I think, and we'll see who can run the ball better. WS Goff has kind of solidified the running back position for them. They're playing really well, I guess, right now, and who's going to make the most mistakes? That's the basic, football. That's every game, but I think that's going to be super key. And who can kind of, if an interception happens or a fumble happens, who can just hold someone to 3 or something like that, or stall drives defensively is going to be key.
Well, there is one game that is actually I'm glad that it's raining today, and I'm glad that it's going to be cold tonight because it's perfect for Elkhorn South and Prep. Elkhorn's, I mean, we've talked about this a million times, Sauter, but like Elkhorn South is playing the best in the state right now, and they would probably be the number 1 team in the power rankings at the moment. And then you sort of project that ahead. But this is going to be a really good one tonight, and Prep's been playing better. Last week was really impressive for them against North Platte. I guess we know that it's going to be low scoring and a lot of running the ball in a quick game probably tonight out at Elkhorn. But outside of that, what do you think we're in store for in that other quarterfinal match tonight?
Yeah, you're right. You have you have 2 of the best backs, Cole Ballard and Marty Brown, going at it. You have, for my money, the best defensive line in Elkhorn South, going against the best offensive line in the state in Creighton Prep, which has, I guess basically everyone healthy. Rocco Marcelino's been out for a while. But they returned their top 7 offensive linemen from last year. So losing one guy isn't that big of an issue for them. And the guy they have that replaced Rocco has done a really nice job. I actually talked to Coach Yonk last night, and they feel real good about where they're at. John Pargo's playing really well on the back end for them. It is going to be a head-knocking game. Like, I think the line play is the key clearly in this game. I think it's going to be 2 teams that are going to want to run the ball as best they can. One thing, Carson Rauner and his ability to escape pressure and use his legs to make plays is huge. He's had big chunk runs from the quarterback position the last few weeks, and that's a key. And then the wrinkle that Prep does with Federal, he comes in and they run the option with him. The quarterback position at Prep is kind of settled down. They're not trying to play 4 different guys and all this stuff anymore. So that certainly, I think, has helped. And they've just really, really, really relied on the run game. Even Caden Russell, their backup running back, is good. So I think it's probably more 50-50 of a game than really a lot of people think. I think it'll be really close and be a late kind of touchdown or late score that wins it. That's my opinion. Prep is playing really well right now. They going to North Platte and shutting down that run game. Not just shutting it down, shutting it out. I mean, they won 27-0. So defense obviously is playing really, really well for Prep. And one guy for Elkhorn South and kind of a key, the back end, if you will, of Prep is if there is a weakness, that may be it. And Hoskinson kind of slant routes. They find ways to get guys the ball in matchup and exploit those. So he might be a guy that has a chance to make some big catches over the middle.
Mike Sauter from VNEB Preps joining us here on 1620 The Zone. All right, let's go to the other side of the bracket. Westside just kind of does what Westside does. I don't think a lot of people paid attention to their game against Papillion La Vista. They said, hey, I'll check the score at the end of the night. and they blew out Papillion La Vista. Anthony Rizak quietly is having a monster season. They still don't have Caleb back, possibly next week, but they have Lincoln Southwest, who they have a really interesting quarterback, but they have a good running back, but I'm not sure if Southwest is ready for what Westside's going to deliver tonight at Phelps Field.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if Rizak has done picking the all-state or whatever quarterback is going to be, I think, really difficult. It's probably going to be Zane Flores as like a career award, and he deserves it. You can't say he doesn't. But what do you do with the other guys? And Rizak is like the one guy that I think right now would push him. He is the most indispensable player on a team that's left in. Well, okay, maybe Cam Kozol, but he's probably the most indispensable player right now on a team that's left in Class A. Because if he were to go down or something happened, their chances of making it to Lincoln and or winning it are pretty small. They have the skill guys. Really Southwest, you just look at Baptista, their wide receiver, who's done a nice job. He's their career leader in receptions and all that. But hey, guess what? What's Westside's strength on defense? Oh, it's their linebackers and their secondary. Yeah. So it's a really tough matchup for Southwest. That one would be like the surprise maybe of the year if Southwest was able to get that done.
How about Millard South Grand Island?
Yeah, another one I think is probably a 50-50 shot. I think both teams are pretty good. Grand Island won last week without their best player, and Jace Chrisman. He's going to be back this week. Cohen Evans at quarterback is a nice quarterback. But Brock Murtaugh was all over the place last week in Kearney, defensively, offensively. Kozal back for them. You gotta kind of, I guess when the brackets came out, I was like, oh, Millard South has a chance to even make it to Lincoln to come out of that side. And I know, playing West Side the first time, it went into overtime, and there was an interception in the end zone. So I love Millard South. I've been on that train. I was playing quarterback. I've been on that train all year. I think they probably get it done again. I think they probably just have too many athletes. But, man, Grand Island, we say it all the time about Grand Island. They're so well coached and disciplined and tough kids. They don't check all the underwear Olympics boxes, but they're so well coached and really just stick to their assignment and do what they got to do. I do think it'll be close. But I guess I look for Millard South to come out of that.
Hey, we only have a couple of minutes here, but I want to go through your thoughts on B. Elkhorn North has had a magical season. They get Bennington again. The first matchup was close. It was windy towards the tail end of the year. Bennington is on a 23-game winning streak, so you got that game tonight. Scott has to go out to Scotts Bluff. We remember the Scotts Bluff matchups in the playoffs. And then you have York coming into town to take on Gross and Grand Island Northwest at Waverly. Quickly here, quick thoughts on B, anything that'll stand out tonight or we should be on upset alert for?
Yeah, the Gross game, I think has a chance to be pretty close. York plays close games, and they're going to be tough and physical. And Gross likes to run the ball. We know that. So that one could get over pretty quick. But that one's probably a 24-17 or something like that. Elkhorn North, when it was 21-7 the first time they played Bennington, I looked up the number. That was the first time that a team held Bennington to 21 points since September 11th of 2020. Will they be able to do that again, or generate enough points if you're Elkhorn North? I think that one's probably a tough challenge there. Going to Scotts Bluff clearly I think is the favorite in that game. But there's this thing with Scotts Bluff right now. They're like, I talked to a couple of people out there, and this week, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Scott's coming to town." So that's in their head, right? So it maybe, right? Maybe. But Scott's going to have to play a lot more physical and tougher than they have all year to get that done. And then the Waverly Northwest one, I have a feeling could be that, again, both teams like the kind of quick passing game, short passes. The weather is going to be an issue probably for both of them. And Waverly probably has just maybe a little bit more to get that done. Even though I think that one could be a 50-50 game too.
Over in C1, we got a rematch of last year's final, Columbus Lakeview and Pierce. Going to be a busy night. Nice job with you and Clark and everybody else covering state volleyball. We'll look forward to the coverage tonight because there'll be a lot of people that will not be going to games to stay in and stay warm, and they'll be following your Twitter account.
Yeah, I'll do my best to retweet scores of games I'm not at, like I kind of always do. I'll do my best to keep my hands and fingers and thumbs warm. So, yeah.
All right. We'll look forward to awkward videos of you talking to coaches and eating popcorn.
It's not awkward.
Hey, the awkward video things are cool. As long as if we do it again and the Happer is with me with the concession stand thing, as long as he doesn't just steal a cheeseburger out of my hand, I think we're okay.
Yes, that would be. I know that
Right.
the two head coaches are going to be at the game tonight. They hate doing those things.
Well, the one doesn't mind it at all. The other one is a little more like.
Yeah, Coach
All right,
Cale's pretty intense. Coach Huffman knows. He understands. He's recruiting, man. He got those videos look good. He knows they get shared.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Hey, I'm not going to deny. I'm not going to deny the fact that I do those, and sometimes I talk to coaches and be like, "Hey, this might be good for your brain."
Oh, wow. I mean, it's Truthful Friday. All right. Be good, my man.
All right. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Mike Sauter.
Busy night for football. The weather will have an impact in some places. One of the games you talked about, Scotts Bluff. Vers will be on the road here shortly. We'll talk to him coming up the next hour. Mike Schaefer as
Hey, did you check the weather in Scotts Bluff?
I don't know. It snowed in Denver
I was going to
today.
say it's probably snowing out there.
Whoo! And you know what? Vers will be on the sidelines in shorts.
Oh yeah, you bet.
Yeah. That's coming
Stone
up
cold guarantee.
in the next hour from Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe. Hey, you can find your next SUV at Woodhouse Buick GMC, and you'll find the SUV that I fell in love with that I'm currently driving, the 2023 GMC Acadia. You know, when you think about it, there's a phrase that says cream rises to the top. It gives you the best that you could hope for in a vehicle, and that's what the 23 GMC Acadia does. It reaches a luxury level of driving. It is smooth in town or when you punch it. Drove it down to Lincoln last weekend. Looked down. Hope nobody's listening. And I was going pretty fast and didn't even feel like it. Yes. Plus, it keeps you entertained. 5 USB ports, 8-inch infotainment touchscreen. I found that I enjoy sitting behind the wheel because it's a nice, clean, smooth driving experience that you are in the lap of luxury, and it's more powerful, responsive when you hit the gas and you got to go, and also a vehicle that will handle the conditions that are headed our way here in the winter season. So take time to find out why I like the GMC Acadia, and you will as well. Go to Woodhouse Buick GMC, climate-controlled indoor showroom, 119th and I. Take it for a test drive, or you can begin your journey where you can experience the same knowledgeable and friendly staff online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Woodhouse Buick GMC, we are professional grade.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report along eastbound I-80 near I-680 and exit 445 and 446, so please be cautious if you are in that area. Northbound along the JFK, be prepared for some pretty significant slowdown near 25th and Q Street, and on L, be prepared for some significant delays near 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like jewelry, gold chains, bracelets, earrings, wedding rings, and high-end watches, guns, electronics, $10 to $50,000, super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Marvin Windows has long been known for their lasting value and beauty.
Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is Omaha's first authorized Marvin Windows replacement contractor. For a free estimate, call Carp's Complete Home Exteriors or visit carpsomaha.com.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has been making your game day experience one to remember for 18 years with our award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. But now your game day just got bigger and better with Oscar's newly upgraded audio-video system. Cheer on your favorite teams this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall, showing up to 8 games at once, and of course, 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
MD West One's team of neurosurgical spine specialists is the largest and most advanced in the greater Omaha metro. MD West One has been voted the #1 private practice and #1 in neurosurgery and spine by Best of Omaha year after year. They can help if you're suffering from recurring neck and back pain, weakness or numbness in your extremities, sciatica pain, or any other recurring issues stemming from your neck or back. Go to mdwest1.com to meet the spine team at MD West One.
With almost everything in life, you have choices. You can pick a lot, a little, or somewhere in the middle. So shouldn't there be an internet plan that's just as clever? One that allows you to add TV or home automation whenever. That's why Cox now offers flexible internet plans, giving you all the services you desire at nothing you don't require. Additional services can be added at then current regular rates. All services subject to residential customer service agreement and acceptable use policy found at cox.com/policies. Restrictions apply.
Hey, how are ya? I hope well. Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. And yes, time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Attention hunters and anglers, there's some fun challenges happening with regard to hunting and fishing in Nebraska. Be sure to check out the Duck Slam, the Upland Slam, the Trout Slam, and take 'em hunting. Get more information on these at outdoornebraska.org. That's outdoornebraska.org. Hey, come see us in the Nebraska State Parklands, will ya? Whether it's to watch wildlife, hike a trail, camp, fish, go to an event, or just plain sightsee, the grounds to Nebraska's many state parklands remain open for you year-round. Just need to have that current state park permit on your vehicle and to bring your own drinking water. Feel free to contact us at the Game and Parks Commission for more details on any outdoor topic. I'm Greg Wagner.
Dave Matthews Band Live. Saturday, November 12th, CHI Health Center.
So much to say, so much to say, so much to say, so much to say. You were meant together, could do anything, baby.
On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Live Nation.
Hey, it's Happer for FanDuel Sportsbook, and now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Why? Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Imagine that. No sweat. Just sign up with promo code HAPPER. There's the good old-fashioned same-game parlay where you can combine your favorite bets from the same game. You could stay engaged all day long with the live betting feature. You'll get updated odds by the second on games that are already going on. And here's the best part. You get your winnings paid out quickly. That's what we're all here for, right? On an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Sign up today with promo code HAPPER for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code HAPPER, HAPPER. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Bam! Now you would select this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Snoop-a-loop, guy in the green hat.
Bring your green hat.
Also, we talked about Nebraska. Their side of the river, Glenwood takes on 10-0 Lewis Central tonight. In 4A.
Are you locked into Iowa high school football too?
I'm a big fan of what they do at Lewis Central.
Yeah.
They got a really good program.
They're sort of Omaha's Council Bluffs team.
Yeah. Hey, look at that.
Did you say that? They should put that on a T-shirt.
I mean,
Northwestern has Chicago's Big Ten team.
Yeah.
And they could say Lewis Central.
I would love to see. I would love to see Lewis Central play against similar Omaha teams.
Didn't they try and get something together during the COVID year and
Yeah.
fall through, or did it actually happen?
No, I did not. I don't believe it happened. This year I think TJ and South played, but TJ and AL used to be in the Metro Conference.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You'd have Council Bluffs and Omaha schools playing each other.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of the fun.
You always wonder, like you never, you don't actually know how the competition compares, anything like that. And Iowa does it right in baseball, play summer baseball instead of splitting off and doing Legion. So you never know like what your level of competition is over there. It's tough.
All right, that's Connor. We got one more hour to go. Mike Schaefer will walk us through the noise of yesterday, or if it has become a thunderous clap.
Do you think Schaefer's pro Jeff Monken?
I don't know. I thought he was like pro Todd Monken.
He loves Willie Fritz.
He does. He does, and there's a lot of people who like Tulane, and they're getting a lot of attention, and that's great. Well, we all got our favorites, but now you got to pick sides.
Time to jump in.
Yep. Mickey of the field? Nope. Now
are
it's
you House Rule or are you House Joseph?
Or do you take a Patterson on the back? Yeah. No. Okay.
No.
Well, he won't be the coach then.
Nope.
Shafe's coming next from Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on The Crossover.
Then you're trapped on that email chain for about days, at least. Yeah. The reply all is haunting. Yes, that is a message for people in our company. Please stop. Just in every company. Quit replying all.
I got news for you. They're not listening.
Just quit replying all.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Wet and chilly weather Friday with rain expected throughout the morning. Showers become more spotty in the afternoon with a north breeze gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. Highs will only top out in the low 40s. More showers expected overnight, then changing to wet snow after midnight. 1 to 3 inches of slushy accumulation possible in the metro by Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine.
Bill Jones.
And Olivia.
Here again for Jones Bros Cupcakes and Cafe. Jones Bros is famous here at Omaha for catering delicious breakfasts and lunches for business meetings.
If I own a business, I cater Jones Bros every day.
Sounds good to me, Olivia.
For breakfast, I cater French toast with warm syrup and croissant donuts. That would be a good day at work.
Go with it, Olivia. Check out our website at jonesbroscupcakes.com for catering.
Jones Bros Cupcakes in Exarban Village.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory, explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Time to tip off a new season. The Creighton Blue Jays take on St. Thomas in the season opener. Monday pregame coverage starts at 6 p.m. with Ravi Lula and Blue Jay shoot-around. Tip-off is at 7:30. The Blue Jays are on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
SimpliSafe was named the best home security of 2022 by U.S. News & World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors and HD cameras are powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for faster police response. Visit simplysafe.com/holiday to get 40% off any new system today. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Like bones, your teeth lose density and become weaker over time, which can lead to tooth decay. And that can make your visit to the dentist feel like this. But if you want your dental visit to feel like this, try Crest Densify. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth by remineralizing enamel. Densify from Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America. Smile, Crest has you covered.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
He looked like he was running in slow motion during that open field run.
He's a strider.
So would that equate to him being a slightly more athletic Ben Roethlisberger? What does that have to do with him running the ball?
Because they're taking the DBs and secondary downfield.
Catch After Hours 6 to 8 Monday through Friday, or as the sports schedule allows. Brought to you by Iowa Western Community College and Payne West on 1620 The Zone.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Make it a great fall season. Head to KuglerVision.com today to request a consultation.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
1620 The Zone.
Minnesota, Nebraska tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Minnesota's a 16-point favorite, trying to get bowl eligible, trying to run Mo Ibrahim down the throats of Nebraska. Nebraska this year 0-5 when they allow 175 yards or more rushing. Ibrahim trying to go for 17 straight 100-yard games. Woo. For the most part, Nebraska they held Mr. Brown in check last week. What will they do against Ibrahim?
In check, quote unquote. He still got his yards.
Yeah, but they got off to a good start.
No, they did. No, they did pretty well, but he's still got his yards.
All right, Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7 joins us. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I want to just say for the record, I agree more with Gary that they held him in check than I agree with Connor that he got his yards. Even though he did get his yards, but they mostly held him in check.
What's to disagree with? He got his yards, and they held him in check. I think we're all on the same page here, Schaefer.
Yeah, I mean, it's just splitting hairs, but he didn't really there was no moment where he took that game over, if that makes any sense at all.
I got you. No, I got you. But he still got his yards.
Hey, is this why has this defense become good enough? I mean, they're not where, Minnesota gives up a little over 14 a game. Nebraska's not in that range. Nebraska's kind of, in the middle of the pack of the 130-plus Division I football programs. But why do you think that this defense has at least become serviceable in the last month or so, that maybe tomorrow they won't just be collapse under a rushing attack by Minnesota?
Well, they've done a nice job of getting back to where they haven't given up a lot of big plays. Now, the Isaiah Williams crosser really hurt them. But other than that, I mean, there wasn't a lot of chunk plays from Illinois on Saturday. And so they made them have to drive. They had that style again where, it's kind of a bet against other Big Ten teams if they don't have the ability to just continue to put together these methodical drives that rely on third down wins. And I haven't looked at the stats on it, but I suspect Nebraska's been better on third down as of late than they certainly were against Georgia Southern or North Dakota or even Northwestern to start the year. So I expect if you look at those numbers, they've been better on third down, which allows them to kind of get off the field. They've been better tackling at times, so it's still not to where it can be. But I do feel like the overall unit has, for the most part, since the calendar got to October, played better football. Now Purdue, without Luke Reimer, is the one kind of standout against that.
Schaefer, what do you think the Chubba, Logan, potentially Casey split is on Saturday?
I expect that Chubba's going to start. I don't know that that's the right decision, but it feels like based on what they see at practice, that Chubba gives them the best opportunity for what they want to do. It's hard to believe, given that it is one of the worst backup quarterback performances we've seen this side of Joe Bauserman. But
nice.
That's where they're at. I think it'll be Chubba. I don't know that we'll see a lot of Logan, but I think if he struggles like he did again, if he does that again on Saturday against Minnesota, you have to have a quick hook. Like I don't know that it saves the game if you go to Logan Smothers late in the third or in the fourth quarter, but for a team that benched Casey Thompson for holding on to the ball too long against Indiana, I don't know how you could look at what happened on Saturday and think Silva Purdy deserved to continue to be out there when you weren't moving the ball. So we'll see what they end up doing. I think it'll be Chuba though. I'm not looking for Casey Thompson, and I don't know that it behooves him to. If he still has any kind of nerve issue, you want to have a lot of confidence, especially if you're throwing him.
I want to fast forward here real quick. The next time Nebraska plays Minnesota will be to open the 23 season. The starting quarterback will be.
Well, we had this conversation on the Connor Happer show, which people can catch from 10 to 2, Monday through Friday. And telling Connor Happer on Monday, and they can hear me specifically at 11:30 on Monday, I think that the next quarterback
on brand.
for the 2023 quarterback is probably someone coming from off the roster currently. I don't look for Casey Thompson to be back. Maybe he does. I mean, he's going to have to make a decision as to what he wants to do. He's going to be pretty old as far as college quarterbacks go. So I did see a guy who was 29 for North Texas, so there's something to aspire to. But I think that they'll have a different quarterback from the transfer portal starting for Nebraska in that game.
Schaefer, how do you parse through the events or non-events of yesterday? I mean, regardless, we've been sitting here for weeks now and months. Nothing's really moved on the coaching search front. Yesterday, there was some actual real movement. What does that tell you about the reality, I guess, of the situation that we're in right now?
Yeah, yesterday was like the most exciting day for the last, 50? So,
yeah.
I made more phone calls yesterday than at any other point that I can remember in the current coaching search. And a lot of it for me centered on Matt Rule. And I'll leave it at this. Like, I think there's some smoke there. The further I got into those conversations, the harder it was to connect actual conversations happening between Nebraska and Matt Rule. I think there's some feeling that Nebraska has interest in Matt Rule, and Matt Rule might have some interest in this job, but I don't think it's so far along that we would be expecting any kind of announcement that he's going to be Nebraska's next coach. And that's what I spent a lot of time on yesterday. But what it kind of feels like, because I do believe, contrary to some people's reporting, I do believe that there was discussions that happened yesterday, high-level discussions regarding Nebraska's current coaching search. And I think that, we're going to have a resolution sooner than later. And then, again, that leads you to believe either Mickey Joseph currently in the chair or somebody that is not coaching a Power 5 team or, even a Group of 5 team. It's not a current sitting head coach if you have a move that happens in these next few weeks. And right now, that's what I believe is going to happen. I think Nebraska has a coach before maybe even the Wisconsin.
So let's play the other side of the coin here, because you know what the discussion is. Hey, new coach, it's not Mickey as the head coach, but they got to find a way to keep him, and Trev's going to make sure that he is here. We say that, and there's a lot of advantages for that relationship working. There is also the people that go, have you ever seen coaches and trying to inherit someone? It doesn't always go so well. So we say, man, that makes sense. What's the other side of the coin of you could see somebody coming in and going, I have no connection. I don't feel comfortable. I've got my Mickey Joseph that I can bring with you. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. I think one of the ways to kind of think of it is, we always joke the backup quarterback's the most popular player on the roster because everybody wants to see him if your current quarterback is struggling. If you're a head coach and you take this job and it doesn't go well early on, and Mickey Joseph was the interim coach, and he's popular with the fans because he's a former player, and he, had some wins, and he's well liked by the players that are currently on the roster, you can have some concern with that. I mean, I don't know that it's always the easiest thing to take the guy who was the emotional leader of the team for the last 9 games in this situation and hold him around if you're trying to bring in a whole new regime. So that's a difficult kind of needle to thread. I think you got to have the right personalities for it. You have to, if you're hiring a coach, he needs to be comfortable that Mickey Joseph has kind of his own aura about it. And if you're Mickey Joseph, you'd have to be comfortable that this coach coming in is someone that you would want to work with, or that you aren't shorting your own opportunity to go be a head coach somewhere else. And so those are real kind of things that have to be considered. It's always easy to fantasy build a coaching staff, but as we all know from having covered multiple different personalities, it doesn't always line up. It's the personalities in the room, and Mickey's got a dominant, strong personality. That has to line up with your head coach, and that's not always true, and it doesn't always work. And frankly, I don't know that Scott Frost and Mickey Joseph would have worked particularly well over a year, if that makes sense. I mean, we didn't have to see it because Scott Frost was let go, but the clamoring for Mickey Joseph when they hired Matt Lubick, I don't know that goes particularly well for Nebraska. If it's Mickey Joseph and Scott Frost, because I don't know that their personalities fit or that they would have been building towards the same goal. So just using that as an example, the personalities in the room have to work for the whole thing to kind of work together too.
Schaefer, what do the remaining games mean? I mean, we've asked this a million times, but I'll explain it to you a little bit more. Like, what do they mean for Mickey? I mean, as far as his candidacy, can he move up and down sort of how people think about him in these last couple games? Or is he more of the candidate who you sort of understand what you're getting, you know that he's here and would likely, take the job if offered? I don't know if he's it's not fair to him to say he's like the backup candidate, the backup option, but Nebraska sort of knows, and Trev Alberts knows, that they can have that card and play that card if they need to. Would that be how you would characterize his situation, or I guess what can he do to improve that standing over the last few games?
This is a tried and true Mike Schaefer answer, because there's two different parts to it. There's a part, like, for the fan base, he can endear himself to the people that are in the fan base, that he's able to find a way to get Nebraska to win a couple games, win against teams that they haven't beat since forever. I mean, everybody this month, the last time you had a win against any of these teams was 2018. So if you can get a victory against some of these teams, that's going to endear you to the fan base. For the decision maker, for Trev Alberts, I don't know that Mickey has to win another game, because I don't know that Trev is judging him based off of the 2022 record so much as the actions that he sees when he's around that football program, the interactions that Mickey's had with the players and with the recruits, with the fan base, how he's worked with the media. I mean, that's what I think Trev would be watching if he's determining whether Mickey Joseph can be the next coach at Nebraska. Not so much what he has, what he's inherited in the situation, and the results, but more so how he's handled it when given that opportunity. Does that look like something that Trev Alberts wants to pursue in greater length? And if it is, then does it really matter if he's lost these games without his hand-picked coaching staff and, potentially a personnel that he would cycle out if given the opportunity? So you have two different answers there. For Trev Alberts, I don't think that Mickey has to win another game if he wants to go with Mickey Joseph as his head coach. He can do that. I think it's a lot easier for the fan base to stomach it, to be excited about it. Stomach's the wrong word. To be excited about the next coach, which I think is important. I think it matters that this fan base is excited about who the next coach is. It would really help if it's going to be Mickey. It would be really helpful if he shows a reason why, whether that's a win against Minnesota this weekend, or a win against Wisconsin at home, or going into Iowa on Black Friday. Give people a reason to back you, and they absolutely will. This fan base wants to back you. If he gives them that reason, if his team gives them that reason, it makes it that much easier.
Give me a game plan with Chubba Purdy that helps Nebraska put the ball in the end zone tomorrow.
Oh, man. I think you got to try to use Anthony Grant a little bit more than what you've seen. I think it's going to be tough because I don't know that Chubba has the ability to take the deep shots downfield that makes Trey Palmer so special. And that allows, Minnesota to kind of play their defense where they can sit on top of you a little bit. But I think it's got to be, you got to rely on Anthony Grant. You got to hit on some play action throws if you can get that running game to work just a little or make them respect it. And you got to have individuals make plays. I mean, you had it a little bit with Travis Vokolek on the 56-yard touchdown. Alante Brown had a nice game, and they were able to do some things with him. But you're going to need some yaks. You're going to need some yards after contact. You're going to need some. You're going to need some plays. I mean, it can't just be the expectation. Can't be that Chubba Purdy has to be able to hit Trey Palmer for Nebraska to score, or it's going to be another long game.
Shafe, we appreciate it as always. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys, enjoy the terrible weather day.
I mean, it's like if you live in Seattle or something, you're like enjoying this day.
It's true. true, but if I lived in Seattle, I'd have a lot more retro Sonics gear, and I would be perceived to be much cooler than I actually am.
Well played. Well played. Thank you, sir.
Bye, Schaefer.
So Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. I, for one, periodically do not mind the kind of weather we have today.
No.
Now, I'm not really excited about what I'm hearing tomorrow morning, 2 to 4 inches of slushy snow in Omaha.
If you're a person who cares, about how much rain you get, it's been pretty dry around here.
It has. Farmer Connor.
You're a classic person from Nebraska. You might say, we needed it, Gary. We needed it. Finally got some rain.
It's going to be depressing. Sun's not going to come out today. It's going to snow. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? You got to turn the clocks back. It's going to get darker.
Now, I'm going to tell you another Midwestern weather thing. I could do without the wind. The wind is what makes it really a tough day. The rain I could deal with. The cool temperatures I could deal with. The wind is what makes it really tough.
Our next guest will be out in the elements tonight. Omaha Scott travels to Scotts Bluff.
Gas up the Jets.
We hear it's going to be upper 30s at kickoff in Scotts Bluff. And our next guest, Matt Verzo, will be in shorts. You just don't roll into Scotts Bluff and Verz puts on pants. Oh, no.
It's not a special occasion.
No. He'll join us next. And before we're out of here, Connor and I will share our final thoughts on what we think will happen tomorrow between Nebraska and Minnesota, as the Huskers are a 16-point underdog with a backup quarterback. You want to save yourself some headaches today? Do not research backup quarterbacks at Nebraska that have to start a game. Yeah, you might want to avoid that. That'll make you feel like the weather outside. There ain't no Ron Kellogg sitting around.
Nope.
That's for sure.
A little closer to Riker Fife.
That's Connor, Dan, back in studio. Mike here on site. I'm Gary on 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
If you're looking for a great way to win free tickets to see the Huskers take on Wisconsin at Memorial Stadium, then I got the hookup for you. All you have to do is head over to ticketsforless.com/contest to sign up for your Husker football ticket giveaway. The deadline to sign up is November 14th, so be sure to head over to ticketsforless.com/contest now to sign up. And while you're there, be sure to check out the other great ticket advantages, to other great contests that Tickets for Less has running, and you can always shop the best selection of tickets to your favorite events too at ticketsforless.com.
MD West One's team of neurosurgical spine specialists is the largest and most advanced in the greater Omaha metro. MD West One has been voted the #1 private practice and #1 in neurosurgery and spine by Best of Omaha year after year. They can help if you're suffering from recurring neck and back pain, weakness or numbness in your extremities, sciatica pain, or any other recurring issues stemming from your neck or back. Go to mdwest1.com to meet the spine team at MD West One.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
West Omaha, you're in for a treat. Cops is now open at 180th and Center. Famous for their pizza and wings, but with their new location comes an extensive new menu that includes salmon, certified Angus beef fillets, ribeyes, New York strips, several pasta dishes, salads, and an extensive variety of shareable appetizers. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Now open at Shadow Lake Town Center and 180th and Center. Click copspizza.com to see the menu. Pizza, steaks, pasta, salads, and so much more.
Do you hear what we hear? Omaha Steaks has tons of jobs and hours. Right now, we're hiring for a variety of seasonal positions in our warehouses. Plus, all positions come with a great employee discount on food you can use all year long. To view available job openings and to apply online, go to omahasteaks.com/jobs or text steaks to 22633 to apply today. This holiday season, dash through the dough and earn extra cash working at Omaha Steaks.
If you served honorably in our nation's armed forces and you're looking for a way to continue serving your fellow veterans in your community, then join AMVETS. Each year, AMVETS members volunteer millions of hours at VA healthcare facilities from coast to coast, helping to improve the lives of their fellow veterans through the VA Voluntary Services Program. AMVETS posts and departments also participate in a wide variety of community service projects, ranging from Americanism in our schools to supporting the Special Olympics and Boy Scouts of America. If you no longer wear the uniform today, you can still serve through the AMVETS by joining today at amvets.org.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows. The Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jay shoot-around and overtime shows are also presented by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More, by Barry Law, by Union Bank and Trust, by DJ's Dugout, and by McGow Law. Before and after each Creighton game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Cool air temperatures mixed with warm soil temperatures means it's time to plant. Visit Lanaha's Garden Center for the Metro's largest selection of homegrown trees and plants. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
1620 The Zone.
All right, 25 past the hour, last hour on a Football Friday Fiesta ahead of Nebraska, Minnesota, and a good weekend of college football and a nice slate of high school football tonight. We welcome in Matt Verzal. Verz, good morning.
Morning, boys.
Hey, so this is weather that you love. I've told everybody that when they show up in Scotts Bluff to welcome you tonight and the Scott Skyhawks that you will be in shorts. Beautiful weather day to play some smash mouth football. How you feeling about the matchup tonight?
It'll be a fun one. I mean, Scotts Bluff, they know what they want to do. They do it well, and it's a big, aggressive team like they always have. So we'll have our work cut out for us tonight.
Hey, what's the travel like for an Omaha team going out to Scotts Bluff? Well, what's the day like for you guys?
I just threw 150 pizzas. I am sprinting home to take a shower. I'm doing a radio interview, and I will hit the road. The boys and the rest of the squad, they left yesterday.
Oh.
I think they made it out to North Platte and then, get off practice, eat, get back on the bus. And I believe we stayed in Sydney. Man.
Wow.
Funny,
all right.
Funny certain circumstance. When we did this last time, this is kind of the same path we did. We have a mom that's our team mom. God bless her. She's a great woman, but if you don't have things planned out to the millisecond, she is like questioning everything. So Thurman had it down to, at 1:32 and 42, they're getting back on the bus. So, they got them. They're headed out there now. I think they're going to go to Bass Pro or something. Just kind of get your legs stretched out today. I told them to watch a couple of the boys because if they go into Bass Pro, they might not come out. So we got to make sure that we get all 40-some or 50-some of them back on the bus. So, but yeah, so the team should be out there. The coach is going to shower and start burning rubber.
You got about 6-7 hours in front of you?
That's what they'll tell you. I'll be there about 6.25.
6.25.
All right. Well, that'll be it's a great matchup. I mean, I don't have to tell you, Scotts Bluff is a really good football team, and you guys have played some really entertaining games in the postseason. So hopefully this one will be another one.
Yeah, I mean you're to the point now. Nobody's hiding nothing. Everybody knows what they got. So we'll figure it out.
Your viewpoint of the quarterback situation last Saturday leading into this Saturday.
No, for Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Geez. I mean, here's the deal. Like,
Okay, so you have to know that somebody's going to get hurt. This way of the game that's big, it's fast, it's strong. Your backup has to be prepared and able to do, not necessarily what you start to do, but things that can accentuate their skill set inside of your frame, right? If that person is hurt, then stop lying and don't put them out there. Or if you want to tell us they're hurt after the fact, then just stop lying, right? Because if you're not training your second and third team to be a viable commodity on a game day, then you're doing it wrong. All right? So we want to leak out all this stuff, back and quarterback hurt too, and then put the healthy kid in and let the healthy kid play. All right? So don't continue to put us as a fan in this situation where we don't know if we can trust us as a fan. I'm not talking about the head coach. I'm totally fine at the super, super secret regional board meeting or whatever the hell that was that everybody knew about before it happened. If that takes Mickey Joseph as head coach, I'm down. I'm in. But the rest of it, you got to get it together and train a 3 deep and not a 1 deep.
Wow. I mean, they got to figure that thing out. The quarterback. I don't know who's. I mean, it's gonna be Chuba tomorrow. It seems like. I was wondering, like, as far as the quarterback run is concerned, is that something you feel like this offense, with the state that the offensive line is currently in, is that something this line and this offense could pull off, or are they better off just doing what they do and not having success at it?
Oh man, that really? Like, your quarterback has to be a viable entity in that team. Like, he has to be. And it's not hard. If you want to disguise something that's bad up front or isn't being done correctly up front, put a defender in a no-win situation. Put a defender in a spot where he cannot pick right. If you step inside, I'm going outside. If you step outside, I'm giving it to the guy inside. Like, that's the whole beauty of any type of zone read, RPO, offense. Like, your quarterback has to be a viable entity. Can he throw the deep ball like Thompson? No. He cannot. But can he run? Sure. We'll see.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. We don't have any sample size, but if I'm having issues with some blocking scheme or some execution up front, my quarterback has to be a vital part of that running.
Matt Verzal joining us here. Take us inside a normal week where your QB1 is not injured. What is the breakdown of, like, the right way, as you alluded to prep the guy for a viable option if they have to come in the game? What's the right percentage of snaps and reps with the number one offense is needed in a week where the QB1 is healthy? And you're trying to rep 1, 2, and 3, and maybe even 4 if you have that many practice stations.
You can take people and rotate them around, and that's why we're all diehard defenders of the station practice. Okay, so I can take that one QB and run him with the ones, and I can say, hey, you're going with the 2s. You stay at this station, QB1. QB2, you go with the 1s to the next station.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to see how that goes. And QB1 was like, hey, man, life's pretty good up there with them dudes. And QB2 goes, man, I should study harder, practice better, because I'd like to run the system more. Again, so now we're back to the C word, back to competition. So now number 2 is like, hey, man, I got to get more reps this season. Right? So you can get, I mean, if you get 70-30, again, football, not a hard game. We're not building bombs. We're trying to move somebody off point A to point B. That's it. The read is the same. Everything is the same. It's just execution. So it doesn't have to be 50-50, but it can be 70-30, and you can get quite a bit done.
Hey, Verz, why do you think Minnesota's given Nebraska's defense so much problems with their run game over the last couple of years?
They're tougher, and they're meaner, and they know what their system is, and they execute it.
Simple
and
as
TJ
that.
loves sticking it to the former regime.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to be the perpetual up and comer in that league. That's what he wants to do. He wants to lay claim to that threat. The exuberant, over the top, look at me, sprint down the field, coach guy, which I like him. I really do, because he gets people to buy in. But then they come in to play us, and it's like, hey, we're down 22 guys during the COVID season. Who cares? Go do it to them. Hey, the next year we're not supposed to do it. We'll do it to them again. And he takes great pride in sticking it to us.
Well, they'll come to town as a 16-point favorite. Vers, I appreciate it. I know you're busy today. Hey, safe travels out there. Good luck tonight. That should be a great atmosphere, and it should be a head-knocking football game.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks. That's Matt Verzal. Scott takes on Scotts Bluff. 39 at kickoff out in Scotts Bluff, where they in western Nebraska, they have a little weather issue. They have some snow. Interstate 80 has been shut down in some places
for a section. Yeah.
Wow. What are we doing here? The first part of November.
Fast. It usually does. It happens pretty quickly when it shows up. And here we are. We are here, sadly. But then we'll have the couple days in December where it's like 62 degrees, and that'll be good. And then you hunker down.
I was talking about the backup quarterbacks. We were just talking with Vers about repping backup quarterbacks and getting them ready to play. Since 2014, when Nebraska's had to play a backup quarterback, they are 2-7.
Oof.
But here's the thing about the backup quarterback playing. How many of those guys, as you can recall, through the history as backup quarterbacks, actually they were a backup, they filled in for the starter, and they turned into the starter the following year?
Yeah, that's a great one.
It doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. Okay, so we can go through the last one.
I mean, Tommy Armstrong is the last guy who filled in for the starter and eventually became the starter.
The last one last year was Logan. That path doesn't seem clear at this point for him to become the starter. Before that, it would have been Luke McCaffrey.
There's a Vedral in there.
So Luke McCaffrey briefly became the starter, I suppose, but never had a full season. There was the Vedral part. And then before that, you're going back to Patrick O'Brien? Did he fill in for a game one year? Or was that?
He never started, but he did come in after Tanner Lee got hurt. Ironically, at Minnesota.
That's right.
Because wasn't that the concussion? And then all of a sudden, Tanner Lee played the following week at Penn State.
Yeah. And then it would have been Riker the year before that, and he never became the starter. They were all beat up that year at the end of 16.
Andrew Bunchy played against Troy in 2018.
Yep.
Robbie and I were talking about this yesterday. Probably the situation where you looked and felt the most comfortable with a backup, like 100% comfortable, would be Cody Green.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, because that was a close competition, right, the entire time. So, and I mean, it was back and forth the entire way. I don't know if you felt comfortable necessarily with with either of them at times, but there was that part of it too. Man, you're right. They never. Like, it feels like they clear that room so often. And that's changeover head coaches and offensive coordinators and stuff like that too. But it feels like they're just clearing that thing out all the time, and there's no chance for development in that room. It's a really good point out, because that is definitely a symptom of not having a real healthy situation at the quarterback spot.
That's the reaction to Purdy tomorrow. I mean, it's not like Chubba Purdy, he just started playing football. I mean, we are starting to gain a lot of samples of Chubba Purdy playing at the Division I level. So if he goes out tomorrow and looks again like a guy where the game is going too fast, poor decision making, and skittish, and maybe that's a little bit on the offensive line, but I mean, are you thinking, okay, if Casey doesn't come back, Chubba's our guy? I mean, you might be looking at tomorrow gives you a sample and an answer to your question and go, boy, this quarterback room, the new guy coming in, or if it's the same guy, whoever is your quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, however you design that, you got a chore in front of you. You got to go find that magic portal guy, and then you're going to have to build back once again in your high school recruiting to build that room back up where you feel confident that you can just pass the baton from the starter to a couple years down the road to another starter, or the next year down the road.
Well, Nebraska's had 3 different offensive coordinators now over the last 4 years, and they're going to have another new one next year. And they're going to – I mean, Chubba is tied directly with Whipple. So what happens with Chubba after this year? I don't know. I don't think Casey Thompson's coming back. So that room is going to be clear and wide open for either younger guys who are on the roster who have now had cracks with 2 and 3, different offensive coordinators and 2 head coaches, or what will be the second head coach. And there's going to be some new guys that come in. My guess would be that the next offensive coordinator / head coach would be attached to a quarterback as well, like Scott Frost was with Adrian Martinez in late 2017. So, I mean, there's hope for the spot, but it's baked into the fact that it would be a reset at the position, which, says a lot about where the spot's at right now.
And new coaches, they want their quarterback right away.
Yeah.
You get the right quarterback. I mean, Heupel is now tied to Hooker. I mean,
and I think sometimes
Tennessee solved their quarterback issue. Remember when it was the next hot shot quarterback that was a 5-star, and then all of a sudden it was a Michigan transfer, and they couldn't figure out the quarterback spot, and they finally got a new coach who got his quarterback. And what has happened in a short amount of time? I mean, he's not the only one. I mean, Lincoln Riley lucked into Caleb Williams. You brought him from Oklahoma, but look at coaches, new coaches that either bring a quarterback, find a quarterback, and that's their guy that helps him into year number 2. I mean, Bielema found the perfect quarterback for him in DeVito this year.
Yeah, you can get it out of the transfer portal, and that's been Nebraska's thing. Here's the sort of issue though with recruiting in the quarterback spot. Like when you have a guy on campus, you have your starter. And then you're recruiting another guy, and maybe he's the highly recruited, next guy up. We're always going to wonder about him. As long as he's not the starter, you're always going to sit there and wonder and ask questions about him. When's he going to be ready? Is he going to be here? And in some cases, I think that's forced programs to, get guys in on the field before they're either ready or, maybe they were never going to be ready. But we do that, and we get impatient with quarterbacks. I mean, you know that. And a lot of times once we see the backup quarterback, we get impatient with backup quarterbacks. So that's a thing at that position where development is not always first and foremost, or we haven't always valued it as much as probably we should. But it's a position that you need to develop more than, most of them on the field.
Just look at how the impression of a head coach in 23 at Nebraska would be if they hit a home run in the portal.
Yeah. And there will be an opportunity.
And there are already some names that are being thrown out there about people that are going to be in the portal.
Yeah.
That are going to be quarterbacks that are currently backup quarterbacks at their own spot.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, maybe new coach comes in and a guy that he was recruiting 2 or 3 years ago hopped into the portal just over the offseason. That happens.
Purdy's not going anywhere for 23, but is he going to the top of the line? I think tomorrow we'll have a lot to say because we also don't know, is this just a week off for Casey Thompson, or is this something where it's week to week and you do get to a point of, man, do you want to risk it?
If he practiced this week, if they're telling the truth and he's doing something productive from a football standpoint this week, that's surprising. That's really
and I think
surprising.
it's more on the mental rep side.
That would be my guess as well. Now it could be all smoke, and he shows up and he's in uniform tomorrow, and he goes through warmups, and you play the head game with PJ Fleck. It'd be shocking. That would be shocking.
And then Whipple loses his mind, and 3 quarterbacks play tomorrow, even 2 at the same time.
Oh, dual Q.
Remember my whole thing earlier about simple is better. Can Mark Whipple do simple?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I mean, man, look, I've been calling for the Logan Smothers thing for a long time now, for the last several weeks. And we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, Gary.
By the way, the family is liking a lot of tweets.
Oh, are they?
They're talking about Logan playing.
I actually did one Logan tweet earlier in the season, and one of the family members did like it. I noticed that. But like that's kind of what this offense needs. But we talked about this earlier. You have to understand who your offensive coordinator is and what they're trying to accomplish. I wonder when Mickey steps in. I wonder if Mickey steps in. Because if it's up to Whipple, we're not seeing Logan Smothers. We won't see Logan Smothers. So you'll know if somebody other than Chuba Purdy's in the game, if Mickey is sort of stepped in. I think that's an inference that we can pretty clearly draw.
All right, that's Connor. I'm Gary. Mike and Dan with us today as well. Asian Joe is in the house.
Go.
Wearing his Midland College sweatshirt. When we come back, we'll give our final thoughts on what's going to happen tomorrow. They are loading up for a big weekend. They must have a huge catering order today.
Dude, I know.
Here at Jonesboro's Cupcakes
Look
and
at all those
Cafe.
macaroons.
We have one more. There's only one more home game the rest of the year. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks ahead of Wisconsin, which how will the vibe be for that game? Two interim head coaches going at each other, two programs that could know the direction of their head coach by the time we get to that game.
Yeah, maybe. It'll be an interesting day. And Nebraska still hasn't beaten Wisconsin in a very long time.
That is true. We're back to put a wrap on this one from Jonesboro's Cupcakes and Cafe in Exarban Village on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. Caller 4 right now, 402-951-1620. Qualifies for 1620 The Zone's four-quarter pick'em. It's your chance to pick 4 football games correctly against the spread to win $1,620. Call 402-951-1620. Call now to qualify with 1620 The Zone.
MD West One's team of neurosurgical spine specialists is the largest and most advanced in the greater Omaha metro. MD West One has been voted the #1 private practice and #1 in neurosurgery and spine by Best of Omaha year after year. They can help if you're suffering from recurring neck and back pain, weakness or numbness in your extremities, sciatica pain, or any other recurring issues stemming from your neck or back. Go to mdwest1.com to meet the spine team at MD West One.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
As a veteran, you get a lot of advice. But wisdom's harder to come by. A lot of people imagine themselves in our shoes without understanding the weight on our shoulders. The truth is, few can understand the pressure of finding your own way after serving in the military. But few isn't none. You've got support. You can't control the chaos, but you can chart your way through it. Steady yourself. Take a breath. You're not alone. Learn more at maketheconnection.net.
It's the final weekend to save during 42 Degrees grand opening of store number 9 at Baker Square with up to 75% off on everything we carry. 42 Degrees, your source for Kratom, CBD, Delta, and more.
Get a full breakdown of what went right and what went wrong immediately after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and more. Join the show immediately after the game and sound off with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Red Overreaction on 101.9 The Keg and 1620 The Zone. Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's discount deal is to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Ted and Wally's has an awesome treat this week with $50 worth of ice cream and sweet treats for just $25. This deal is good at both Ted and Wally's locations, 12th and Jackson in the Old Market and 60th and Maple in Benson.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel, évidemment. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Sharp. Join me for We Got a Podcast, driven by Woodhouse Auto Family. We get more in depth, have a guest or two, and drop nuggets of info you haven't heard anywhere else. Join us for We Got a Podcast, driven by Woodhouse Auto Family, every Friday in the show page on 1620thezone.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out on
Giles Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
All right, last time on a Friday. Thanks, everybody that stopped by here at Jones Rose Cupcakes and Cafe. Endure the weather. Outside, it is rainy. Not supposed to rain during the game on Saturday in Lincoln between Nebraska and Minnesota, 11 a.m. kickoff. Big Red Overreaction afterwards. Are you on Big Red Overreaction?
I am, myself and John Bishop.
Good luck.
Thank you. We did the Oklahoma game, which famously worked out well this year.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah, the tone, what I'll be watching for tomorrow is the tone of the day. It's an early kick compared to last week where you had 2:30 and there was a lot of enthusiasm. So now you all of a sudden have the chatter of the coach. People have some morsels. There's something happening. You come off a loss. You're playing Minnesota. What the atmosphere is like, how long people are engaged in the game, and then like a reaction to the game. If you win, I know what the reaction is going to be. But if you fall to Minnesota, like what the Big Red Overreaction tone, what will that be like? Will it be like, okay, just get 3 more games, no bulge, but just get the season over? John and Connor, I want to talk about the next coach.
I think we're a little closer. I think we'll be a little closer to that based on how I think the game is going to go. But I don't know. I think it'll be tough unless they win to sort of distract you from it now, because we've had the moment where the coaching search is now, at least escalated a little bit. And, Nebraska,
you can't get away from it. I heard people that were in the stands, like in their section.
For sure.
That people are like, hey, what do you think about Mickey? Mickey's got the job. Let's go. You like Mickey?
That's what the last few weeks have been about, with the slight distraction. Like I said this at the beginning of the week. Thank you, Mickey Joseph, for getting us to the point in November. It got us all the way to November without really diving. Like, it's amazing we haven't bored ourselves of death in the last 50 days.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, I mean, they were briefly in the Big Ten West hunt. That's over. And I don't think Nebraska is going to win tomorrow. So I just think that conversation escalates on the coaching search more and more.
So I'm looking at the 4-quarter pick'em, and good luck to Matt, who gave his picks yesterday.
I believe our
on the morning
listeners,
show.
Gary, have been 3-1 every week.
So I'm looking. They're 8-4. So there was one. Nick last week went 2-2.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the standings here.
Yeah. No. We don't have to talk about that.
You and Josh share something in common.
Mm-hmm.
You're both 4-8.
We're both very good. We're like Scott Frost.
Mr. Odson is 5-7. John Bishop is 6-6. And then the surprising thing, because I still don't think Nick Grimm knows anything about sports.
Dude, this is how it goes.
He's 7-5.
This is what I tell my wife every year when we're doing like a March Madness pool or something like that. Is like, you do not want my opinion. You don't want me to pick games for you. You pick who you're going to pick, and you're probably going to end up better than me.
So I'm 9-3. I've gone
3-1,
3-1, 3-1. I do have Nebraska getting 16. I don't think the game gets away from them. I'm leaning towards a 27-17 type game.
Okay.
I think the defense will not be leaky. Ibrahim will go over 100, but I don't think he will gouge Nebraska. I actually think Nebraska will find a way periodically during the game to get off the field on third down, which is going to be tough because they have been 105th in the country and Minnesota's number 1. But there are going to be times. There's going to be times where Tanner Morgan has to make plays, and I think that plays well for Nebraska at certain stages of this game. I still think Minnesota wins 27-17, but give me Nebraska in the 16.
Here's a problem for Nebraska on third down. I mean, one thing that's gotten buried in the mess of this entire season is they still haven't figured out the pass rush. I mean, maybe you added guys there. It's been non-existent. It was non-existent last week, and I think it'll be non-existent this week. But Minnesota doesn't have very good wide receivers. With Aubin Bell done, and I think he's coming back next year. I saw it reported last night, so it'll be like another seventh-year guy.
Get old, stay old.
Yeah, I mean they're staying old, that's for sure, with the help of some injuries. So I just don't like the way this matches up. And maybe you can get them to third downs, but if they're on schedule, it's going to be really tough to stop them and take the ball away from them. And so I don't think we're that far off in how it will look, Gary. But I just think it probably gets away from them a little bit late. The defense can only hold up for so long. I got 33-13. 33-13. So Minnesota by 20, but I don't know that it's particularly a huge blowout.
So there will be the situation that if Minnesota they have no intention of throwing the ball down the field, by the way.
No.
They're
not interested.
Anything that has gone down the field 20-plus yards, 4 of 15, 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Nebraska secondary has to make plays. They
got to scheme something up for Palmer on offense.
The part of this game that worries me, because Minnesota is the anti-Nebraska. Nebraska gives the football away. They're -6, where Minnesota is +3.
Yep.
And the thing I've noticed about Minnesota, especially against Rutgers, so Nubbin had a couple of interceptions and they immediately led to scores. They're good at taking turnovers and turning them into points, whether it be 3 or 7. But I think Nebraska, just like the game against Illinois, they came out well prepared. But then when they got thrown a curveball, you saw what happened. How long does it take for Minnesota to throw them a curveball? But I do believe Nebraska will. This team now plays with a ton of pride, and especially at home, they've been able to block out all the noise that is going on. I think they'll be prepared. It's just how long they can hang in a game against Minnesota, who will try and wear you down by never getting off the field and shortening the game and playing the game in a phone booth again, which Nebraska's not built to do.
Let's just say Chubba is healthy and he's less skittish than he was last week. Like, he's still he's still kind of I don't know what the best way to describe it. He's kind of boom or bust, he's going to try and make plays outside the pocket a little bit. Like, I specifically remember a couple plays from him during the spring game where he was outside the pocket and throwing YOLO balls down the field. Like, he's kind of like that. And so that does not put you in a good spot against this defense that, like you said, they'll turn you over a little bit. So, I mean, I just don't like how it sets up for him. And I think it'll be mostly, if not all, Chubba at quarterback. And I think Minnesota is actually in a lot of ways a tougher test than Illinois was. And I think that shows up tomorrow.
And they'll try and win their 4th straight game against Nebraska.
Yep.
5 of 6 for PJ Fleck.
Yep. And I think he enjoys it. He enjoys it.
He does.
I did just see a picture of him floating around on Twitter of him wearing capris.
Yeah, he likes the short pants.
Yeah.
And no socks.
He looked like a hipster doing a slam poetry speech or something like that. He was up at a microphone on the stage. He had glasses on. He's got his new face, and he's got capris on. You may not like a guy, and I don't particularly care for him, but he can coach.
A lot of people are triggered by him.
I'm not triggered. Do I sound triggered?
Yes, you do.
I'm not triggered.
I just can't waste any more energy on him because he
really
does
good.
What he's hired to do.
Yes.
And
no, I'm not.
You can't say anything about him. He has Nebraska's number, and there's part of what he does. It's not just a Nebraska thing. It's easy to be jealous of.
Oh yeah. You're talking about personality. You're talking about football.
Football.
Yeah, well, he's got
leaving the other part out.
He's got a big old offensive line. Always, they're old. He's got like a 20th year quarterback, which is great. Tanner Morgan's married with a couple kids. He's bald. 2 of those things are actually true. I'm pretty sure he's married and is bald. He's definitely bald.
I know he's bald.
It's definitely bald.
Yeah, he probably is married.
I think he's married. So you got that.
He has some stock options.
This is The final time you'll have to deal with Tanner Morgan.
So this will be another sixth-year quarterback that Nebraska's facing.
Yep.
From Aiden O'Connell
Mickey is taken back by that. He's like, yeah. I mean, you heard him in the press conference on Monday.
Well, because I'm glad he explained it. When you're in the SEC, things churn over a little bit earlier. He said it nicely without throwing like the Big Ten under the bus, that if you're old and in the Big Ten, that means you're not so good. Yeah. You're individually not going anywhere. If you're, older in the SEC, that means somebody played in front of you.
Right. But I mean, whether you're good or not, Morgan, and we've talked about him and his ceiling over the last couple of years, but you have DeVito and you have O'Connell, and they're all going to have your number at the end of the day, I think. That's
why the Casey Thompson possibility for next year. Get old, stay old at quarterback.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right. But maybe Nebraska finds their starting quarterback the next time they play Minnesota tomorrow afternoon. Maybe. All right, thanks for being a friend today.
Of course.
Enjoy your BLT. What'd you get there?
I got the breakfast BLT, which I'm extremely excited about.
It looks good. It smells good. It's shaped good.
Yeah, you bet.
Words to live by, my friend.
Mm-hmm. As always.
All right, if anybody's going to Nebraska wrestling tonight, they open North Dakota State?
North Dakota State
Our
at
big
the
night,
Devaney Center at
Jordan
6
Burroughs
o'clock.
night.
And I will be there yelling at people over the loudspeaker. PA. Jordan Burroughs. There you go. I'm prepped.
Maybe a little bit different.
Okay, I'll try. That's the first try.
For Mike, for Dan, for everybody that stopped by here at Jones Bros, for Connor, I'm Gary. We'll be back with you on Monday morning at 6. We'll do a split show. I'll be in Lawrence, Kansas. Connor will be in studio. And it'll be the first day of college basketball. So we'll give our thoughts on red, blue, and black Nebraska. Yep, basketball is here after this weekend. Enjoy the football tonight if you're headed out to a high school game. Enjoy the football on the weekend. Be safe, make memories. Have a great weekend. Don't forget, after tomorrow's game, Big Red Overreaction, Connor and John will have it for you. And again, we'll be back in Monday morning at 6. We'll be back here at Jones Bros ahead of Wisconsin only one more time. And if you stopped in, registered for tickets, a number that's probably not in your phone is coming soon from one Mike Neville. Do not send it to voicemail. Answer it, and you could be going to that little event at 11 a.m. tomorrow in Lincoln. Crossover with Ravi doing Connor's shows coming up next.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
It's one thing to be able to hang with a team like Purdue. And I'm not saying Purdue can't be physical, but Purdue is a different style of Big Ten West team than Illinois, Minnesota, than Iowa, than Wisconsin. And Nebraska lost with Purdue being the more physical team. So what's going to happen when you play a team who that's their DNA?
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Wet and chilly weather Friday with rain expected throughout the morning. Showers become more spotty in the